Today we have the leaders of technology right here for you on What's With. Maskey. How does Fusemachine make money?
2024, we were at about $8-something million.
WorldLink. Dillip ji, you started it in 1995. To all the people who think,
Just disclose my age, man.
Is it all subscription?
Today we serve around 1.1 million households, 40% of all traffic in the country. NTC and Cell combined would be around 15, maybe 17%.
You're based in Kathmandu. Your companies are global. Kathmandu is not the logical choice for where they will come to look for outsourcing. How do you? Is it YPO, YEO, Mafia?
In India, they trust me because they think I'm a Gujarati.
Me too. Similar institutions outside play many things more. How do you retain talent? So if there's a Nepali youth who wants to get into tech, what would you recommend that they do? How big is Daraz now?
The sales for that day was 4 crore Nepali rupiah.
Youth ko हामीले potential निकाल्न सकेका छैन.
80,000, 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh salary पाइरहेको छु म खुसी भएर बस्ने समय नै होइन यो.
I've always been very optimistic.
So I came to you.
I'm also
You wouldn't
optimistic.
kill the show.
Not that
I
Be
think,
nice.
well, I'm on camera, right? Very nice.
Our venue partner, Hotel Ambassador, communication partner, VIVO Phone, beverage partner, Rakura, suit partner, Suit Studio, driven by Toyota, coffee partner, Pro Coffee, and knowledge partner, MIT College.
MIT, an internationally recognized degree, Bagbazar, Kathmandu.
Namaste and welcome back to What's With. I'm really excited today because we're talking about आजको वर्तमान मात्र हैन आजको भविष्य नेपालको भविष्य नेपालको अर्थतन्त्रको भविष्यको बारेमा पहिला टुरिज्म भन्थ्यो अहिले हामी सबैलाई थाहा छ टुरिज्म भन्दा अर्को एउटा क्षेत्रले विदेशी मुद्रा यो देशमा भित्राइरहेको छ त्यो सेक्टर भनेको टेक्नोलोजी हो $1 billion 1 लाख युवा आज नै कार्यरत छ भन्छौं अब त्यसलाई $10 billion र 15 लाख युवा कसरी बनाउने त Today we have the leaders of technology right here for you on What's With. If you're thinking of starting a career in tech, if you're already in tech and thinking of upscaling, or if you've upscaled and are thinking, how do I go regional, how do I go global, don't miss this episode of What's With. We are delighted to have technology ko to malai sikaउने मान्छे with us today. जब ट्वाक्क NTC को फोन बाट ट्वार गरेर टे गरेर चाहिँ इन्टरनेट हुन्थ्यो WorldLink. Dillip ji, I am truly privileged to have you with us here today.
The privilege is mine, Anil.
I think, like me, so many of us, we learned about internet, we learned about modems, we learned about the World Wide Web through WorldLink, and you are the man who made it happen. You were a student when you started it in 1995. To all the people who think, Ali umer pugeपछि गर्छु.
You just disclosed my age, man.
Don't worry, you look much younger. And today, he still continues to be a leader, a pioneer in technology. We hear about investments coming into his company. We hear about his company going to gaon, afno town. That's what WorldLink is about. That's what Dillip ji is about. We're truly delighted to have you here with us today. A lady who I always get inspired with, Ms. Thapa, Karvika ji. It is amazing for me to have you here today. Your energy always inspires me. It's next level, truly next level. So, Kimbu Technology, Simjun, Chairperson, Executive Director of VS International College, so many hats that you wear. Tech को, भोलि को, हार्डवेयर, सफ्टवेयर बनाउनेदेखि लिएर आजको मार्गदर्शन गर्ने पनि यहाँ नै हुनुहुन्छ. Truly delighted to have you here with us. We look forward to hearing about your journey and from not only getting inspiration but getting tips as to how our youth can follow on that path as well. That is what we're looking for. Anchal ji, what can I say? दोकान जानै बन्द गरिसक्यौँ हामीले त अब. जे किने पनि दराजबाटै किन्छौँ. अमेरिकामा करियर सुरु गर्नु भएर एमाजोनमा काम गर्नु भएर त्यसपछि चाहिँ अब चाहिँ नेपालमै केही गरौँ भनेर त्यो आँटेर परिवारसहित आउनुभयो. आएर केही गर्नुभयो, देखाउनु भयो. एउटा मार्केट प्लेस के हो, सिर्फ हाट बजार मात्रै होइन, आफ्नो फोनमा, आफ्नो कम्प्युटरमा पनि एउटा मार्केट प्लेस हुन्छ भनेर देखाइदिनु भयो. And today, I still believe, as I in my conversations with you, it's just a starting. The market is growing, and not only for Daraz, but for so many small businesses, so entrepreneurs who would otherwise have to take something on rent, open a shutter shop. Now they can just go through you. Amazing to have you here and to hear about your journey and about your tips to the youth as to how they can utilize this marketplace, make other marketplaces as well, and move forward. Mr. Shah, Ajit Bikram Shah, Lotus Holdings, Haiste Hoste, a man who not only looks at technology, not only looks at the economy, but looks at how do I take everyone along with me. The founding chairperson of AmCham in Nepal, bringing together all the businesses, young, old, who have something to do with America, which is a globally one of the biggest marketplaces for us, not only for tech, but for many other things as well. We're so pleased and privileged to have you here with us today. Another person who could have set up anywhere in the world, but you've set up here. And you've set up here not only for yourself, but for the little children who have little hope until you hold their hand and hoist them up into their futures. And for so many tech entrepreneurs who look up to you to say, wow, your vision to make Nepal the global back office. Wow, we want to hear about that. I want to hear how you're planning to do it, and then to see what tips we can take for everybody to see how we can do it. नेपालमा म वित्तीय क्षेत्रमा 31 वर्ष जति बसेँ, 17 वर्ष सिओ भएँ, धेरै गफ दिएँ के. कुनै दिन हेरिराख न, एउटा नेपालीले पनि कम्पनी लिएर जान्छ, न्यासडेकमा घन्टी बजाउँछ. वी विल बी लिस्टेड. दाइ हो. विष्णुमती बागमतीको पानी पनि सुरुप खाने दिन आउँछ अनि त्यही दिनमा हुन्छ नि हाम्रो भनेर. Sameer Maskey, you have done it. You are our pride, literally. And I hope the first of many to follow. You have taken Fusemachine to NASDAQ, to the world. You have shown that it is possible not only to dream big, but to make those big dreams a reality as well. It is a privilege for me to have you here. I was in America when that happened, when you were ringing the bell, and I tell you, I got up and clapped because I was so happy. Anybody who wants साँच्चै नै नेपालको उज्जवल भविष्य होस्, नेपालको full potential realize होस् भनेर चाहिँ, you're one of the pioneers who have shown us that you can do it. We want to hear how you did it and what others can do to get to where you've been. So, to start off the discussions, $1 billion, 1 lakh Nepali yuva. What do you think about that? We know tourism, banker bhaber, hoteliers ko ठुलठुलो hoteliers हो, steel मा हेर्ने पनि थाहा छ, cement मा हेर्ने पनि थाहा छ, hydro मा हेर्ने, जेमा पनि थाहा छ, यही समूह हो, यही मान्छेहरू हो, उनीहरूले नै गरेको. But tech, it's all out there. There are few big tech companies, but many small tech companies. Small individuals who are doing tech. What is your vision right now of tech in Nepal, and what do you think needs to be done? Start with you, Dillip ji.
You know, Anil, it's a very interesting topic. तर आजकल म एकदमै सोच्न बाध्य भएको छु. म यो डिस्कसनलाई अलिकति एआईतिर लग्छु हैन. अब हामी चाहिँ हैन 10 बिलियन गर्ने हैन, 15 लाख युवा रोजगारी दिने हैन. अर्कोतिर चाहिँ आज बिहान मेरो दाइ अमेरिकामा एउटा टेक कम्पनीमा काम गर्नुहुन्छ. उहाँले के भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो भने उहाँको कम्पनीमा आउने 2 वर्षभित्र 40% कामदारहरू घटाउने योजना छ 40%. Okay, and this is a big company called Cisco. Cisco Systems, and that's not just Cisco, it's I think all the major tech companies are going in that direction. So I'm really bullish about Nepal's tech future, but I'm very cautiously optimistic at the same time. किनभने यो AI ले के गर्ला जस्तो म बुझ्नै सकिरहेको छैन हैन अब त्यहाँका ठुला कम्पनीहरूले 40% आफ्नो वर्कफोर्स घटाउने योजना गर्दैछन् भने हैन त्यसले हामीलाई कसरी इम्प्याक्ट गर्छ त हैन समीर त सोच्नै पर्ने कुरा भइसक्यो नि उहाँ एआई को एक्सपर्ट हो हैन सो उहाँलाई त्यसैले हेरेको मैले हैन सो मेरो विश्वास के छ भने आउने दिनहरुमा हैन टेक इन्डस्ट्रीमा युवाहरूले सुनिरहेका होला यो प्रोग्रामलाई we need to be even more vigilant and more proactive and more ready to learn what's latest out there and stay relevant हैन ल मलाई त कोडिङ आइसक्यो मैले त एप पनि बनाएको छु हैन मलाई एकाउन्टिङ गर्न आउँछ मैले कतारी कम्पनीको लागि बसेर काम गरिरहेको छु भन्दैमा खुसी भएर हैन 80,000 1 लाख 1.5 लाख स्यालेरी पाइरहेको छुमा खुसी भएर बस्ने समय नै होइन यो समय के हो भने त्यो पैसा कमाएकोलाई आफूमा फेरि रिइन्भेस्ट गर्नुस् so that you can learn these latest skills and stay relevant किनभने इर्रेलेभेन्सी धेरै छिटो आउनेवाला छ हैन आजको दिन आज यो प्रोग्राम आउँदाखेरि म सोच्दै थिएँ हैन I mean I cannot be all optimistic and smiley on this show हैन and say that oh yes Nepal released 10 billion हाम्रो नेताहरूले अहिले क्याम्पेनिङ गर्दैछन् हैन I'm really proud of the way they're campaigning and what they're saying and I really hope that they achieve it but they're saying oh IT industry certainly has become like this blue-eyed boy हैन I've been looking at it for 30 years in this country. I'm glad it's finally there. But at the same time, I'm wondering, are we too late? Because things are changing dramatically. A lot of tech companies, global tech companies, their stock prices are falling. They're going to have to seriously lay off people. भनेपछि त्यो environment-मा चाहिँ हामी के सपना हेर्ने त हाम्रो टेक इन्डस्ट्री हाम्रो आईटी इन्डस्ट्री त्यो पनि एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएन्टेड आईटी इन्डस्ट्रीको लागि हामी के सपना हेर्ने त्यसको जवाफ मसँग पनि छैन हैन आई होप वी क्यान डिस्कस दैट अ लिटल बिट मोर अन दिस टेबल टुडे
योर व्यूज अन दैट
Amazing. म चाहिँ अलिकति optimistic angle. I've always been very optimistic and
that's why I came to you.
I'm also optimistic.
Not that म अर्को एंगलबाट यसलाई लिन जान्छु आज हाम्रो 1 लाख युवाले गाउँ-गाउँबाट यो ग्लोबल इनोभेसनमा जुन कन्ट्रिब्युसन गरिरहेछन् हैन द जर्नी इज गोइङ टु बी मोर ब्युटिफुल इन द कमिङ डेज द जर्नी इज गोइङ टु बी हाम्रो इनोभेसनहरू एआई को कारणले संसारभरि पुग्छन् हाम्रो इनोभेसनले एआई को कारणले वी क्यान लेभरेज दोज वी क्यान युज इन आवर लाइफ हैन त्यो युथको हामीले पोटेन्शियल निकाल्न सकेका छैनौँ हैन त्यो युथको हामीले एनर्जी निकाल्न सकेका छैनौँ सो दिस इज द टाइम in the last 200 years हामीलाई त्यो अपर्च्युनिटी थिएन हैन हामीलाई आईटी को रिस्ट्रिक्सन डेटा इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर we could have done this 30 years ago हैन आज हामी यो भन्दा हुन्थ्यो तर now it has given us everything and we cannot complain now we can even lead this show we are in a competitive field with anybody in the world हैन त्यो रिसोर्सेस हाम्रो हातमा छ र आई एम भेरी वर्किङ विथ सो मेनी युथ हैन हाम्रो युथमा देयर इज अ डिफ्रेन्ट एस्पेक्ट टु इट देयर इज लोयल्टी देयर इज डेडिकेसन देयर इज हङ्गर देयर इज एक्साइटमेन्ट त्यो एनर्जीलाई हामी जस्तोले अथवा हाम्रो लिडर्सहरूले अथवा त्यो जब ग्लोबल वर्ल्डले त्यो कुरा बुझ्छ हैन दे आर गोइङ टु कम टु अस and we are going to leverage that and we are going to be in the global map and I see better future ahead for Nepal and we are going to be part of this AI innovation, AI journey, AI growth because AI also needs to learn. So in the next 2 years, 5 years, we are going to grow, we are going to learn, we are going to be part of this global innovation and we are going to stand very proud and loud and out there.
No, it's great. I think that goes very much with what Dillip ji also said is there are opportunities, but it's not I think we have to move from evolution to transformation now. We don't have the time to evolve, from the ape to the human being or whatever it is. We need to transform. We need to upskill ourselves. We need to invest in ourselves. To complacency, जुन मैले पनि पाउँछु है, I'm sure all of us in our youth, 1 लाखको salary भएपछि अब त बनिहाल्यो नि दाइ, अब त भन्ने त्यो. We need to say that, wait a minute, this whole thing is at risk भनेर चाहिँ. You work with a lot of youth as well, and with AmCham, you see a lot of new and old entrepreneurs. What do you feel?
Mote, let me start with some data points, right? So any opportunity is always as a access at that time. Compare what do you have for the next 5 years? What's going to happen in the next 10 years? AI is moving very fast, that's for sure. But what's going to happen in the next 5 years and what opportunities that creates is going to be very different from what's going to happen after 5 years, right? Another data point, India, $200 billion of IT export, but the people that's working on that is only about 5 million people, right? Because 1.4 billion population, only 5 million working for a 200 billion export. If you sort of rate that down to Nepali population, I think it's very doable, right? Second is AI, let's say, it has really leveled the playing field. The access to technology we have and the learning we have from Nepal versus the US, Singapore, Philippines, even Africa is the same. It's the same, right? So त्यसले गर्दा in terms of capability of tech talent out of Nepal is very competitive to anywhere in the world. Now the winning thing about Nepal is, हाम्रो Nepal because it's China, our currency is still weak. I think it's opportunity for us to really take advantage of that because the cost of doing stuff here is still at the lowest compared to the rest of the world, right? As long as the cost arbitrage is there between developed markets and Nepal, I feel we'll always have opportunities and we'll be even more competitive. Okay? I'm an eternal optimist, but I feel that we do need to be realistic also about all the potholes on the way. But I think it has to be supported by data. And if you really look at it, we're a young population. I feel the education sector in Nepal has really worked. Anything could be done better, but it has worked because you see, ahileको population or ahileको the stuff that we see, the talent that we see. We have tied up with multiple universities also. We have direct access to talent from universities. To देखेर, I feel very optimistic about this. Okay? So हजुरले भन्नुभएको जुन चाहिँ अहिले 1 billion पछि गएर 10 billion मा, I think that's doable. The only concern is time because things are moving very, very, very fast, right? Execution, I think, if we can focus on execution, I think we'll have a competitive edge. Because as a नयाँ कुरा आछ भने त्यो ठ्याक्क एक महिना, because I have a new startup whereby we are changing course every quarter. I don't have an annual plan anymore. I go to my investors and say, okay, now again you're changing. I said, that's the nature of the market. If otherwise, it's not going to work, right? So I'm very bullish about this. I think it's very doable. Alignment, I think I'm very optimistic for the future for the next 5 years at least, right? Next 5 years, AI is so new. Everybody wants AI, but they don't know what to do with AI, right? So there's huge value that can be created by helping people, businesses around the world to help them use AI, okay? And that's my latest startup that I'm working on. Once everybody starts using AI, then on the side I'm looking for agriculture investments and energy investments also. I am doing that also. Because things will be very different, right? And so that's my input.
No, that's because Nepalमा चाहिँ यो नो भन्ने is the easiest के. नाइ भन्दैपछि सोच्नै परेन नि. क्रिप्टो हैन नेपालमा हुँदैन नाइ. It's not allowed in Nepal. You don't have to think. If you think maybe, even then you have to think. Yes, भन्नलाई त झन् कति गर्नु पर्यो नि. So I think in the governance side as well, with the bureaucracy, with the political leadership also, they have to realize now it's extreme agility is required. Not only flexibility, extreme agility, whereby we can take the risk. Yes, 3 or 7 will be right. Let's move forward with that. त्यो गरेन सबै अध्ययन गर्नु पर्यो प्लानिङ कमिसनमा हेरौँ हैन 5 वर्ष योजनामा हालौँला भन्यो भनेदेखि चाहिँ I think we're going to be.
If I may add something, I've got very good friends in India who are working with the government very closely. India government works like a startup. If you go to a minister's office, they're working till 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? Just like other startups. And the reason they do that is if they are one day late, they've already, like the global competition. So for us to be in that same race, we have to be like that. The thing is, obviously, our people might say that's never going to happen. Or I think if we can decentralize, some sort of, or give private sector liberty to do, I think that's my
And what I like is not only the new political parties, but even the established old political parties have now started to talk in a different tongue. They're not talking of the same thing and all that sort of whatever, Singapore, Switzerland. They're talking tech, they're talking AI, they're talking thing. Now, they have to convert that into action. We've got to see when we're at the threshold of an elections. When I was studying in the States in the 80s, the dot-com revolution or whatever boom was going on, and one of my professors said, what's the best shares to buy? And we all researched and all that. And we all almost failed because he said, no, the best shares to buy is of delivery companies, DHL, FedEx, all these companies, because dot-coms will come and go, but delivery companies have to be there to deliver whatever you do through the dot-com. And Daraz, the marketplace that you've made, all that, the many come, many go, and many boom as well in that. What do you feel on this discussion? Where do you see all this going?
I think overall of you AI conversation, I think there's variety of opinions. I think of it more as I'm sure at some point computer launch people had this idea that is it going to take all of our jobs. I know that AI is at a different scale, but I think I kind of like draw a parallel to that. I think it's more about adaptability. How do you use this new technology or whatever is coming to the best of your ability to make your economy or your business better? And I think for more like younger people, it's more about यसको बारेमा धेरै सिक्नु पर्यो, यसलाई कसरी चलाउने, like longer term, all of this. I think overall, like Nepalको economyमा 5 to 10 years somehow we can comfortably focus more on still growing the tech sector. Like I think everyone has said, यहाँको youth, they're quite ready. I'll share a little bit more about Amazon बाट यहाँ नेपालमा आउँदाखेरि I actually had very low expectations in terms of the quality of resources यहाँ कस्तो हुन्छ भनेर. I've been pleasantly surprised at the level of skill set that I see even at Daraz, like even other employees that I've interacted or so I think like from a resource perspective we're ready. A lot of times it's more about the government rules, regulations that kind of like gets us stuck. I hope that changes for us to get to the next level.
About person who's done AI and taken us to the world on AI, what do you feel, just to start off on AI? I mean, the impact it'll have on us, on the economy, on the youth of Nepal.
So growth possible definitely tha, I think. One of the biggest thing about Nepal is the talent pool here. We've seen at Fuse, all of you have seen in your own companies, the talent pool is good. तर 1 billion बाट 10 billion त पुर्याउने भन्यो तर कसरी पुर्याउने त, right? And as Ajit said, like कति government are they almost functioning as almost as a startup, where they have a full-fledged plan around how are we going to do it, right? अब यो 1 to 10 पुर्याउने हो भने के भन्छ talent, technology innovation, investments, policies, like there's a bunch of things that need to be really coordinated and planned for. 1000% growth when a company like the Garos, a country like the definitely guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So how do you plan all of that? Until planning, AI actually becomes an enabler, but also at the same time, as Dillip said, we don't know what new model is going to come out in 6 months, what new tech is going to come out in another year. So, you plan it, but at the same time you counterbalance with all the different possibilities where it could go sideways. So AI could be an enabler, but AI could also create hurdles because, as Dillip said, companies are, planning to lay off jobs. As Bharkar I think one of the Square parent company laid off 4,000 people or something along those lines. So there's more and more companies that are laying off a lot of people. And yes, we have a talent, or junior engineers are also being. There's less requirement of junior engineers because machines is able to code more and more. So we got to plan around all these different avenues as if the company is trying to grow, that the Nepal needs to do the same, and at the same time think about potential hurdles that will come where AI becomes an enabler, but AI also creates hurdles.
Wow, that's a good way to start this conversation. But each of you is an inspiration to me. And I don't say this in all my podcasts, but in this one it is true for different reasons. Each of you are an inspiration. So I want to deep dive into your journeys so that not only me, but everyone looking can also learn. And I believe that is the best learning, is to learn from those that inspire you, who have walked the path. And what I really like about the path that you've walked, unlike the path I walked in my career, मेरो त ब्याङ्किङ भनेको एउटा हाइवे बनिसकेको थियो हैन। बुवामुवा पनि दङ्ग, छोरो ब्याङ्कमा जागिर खायो हैन, सबै समाज पनि दङ्ग, मेरो हुनेवाला सासू ससुरा पनि दङ्ग, ज्वाइँ हुनेवाला ज्वाइँ त ब्याङ्कर हो भनेर हैन। अब त्यो बेलामा हाइवे बनिसकेको थियो, मैले त मोटर मात्रै चलाएँ। बट इच अफ यु हेभ लुक्ड एट अ जङ्गल एन्ड सेड हातमा खुडा छ, म एउटा बाटो बनाउँछु, गोरेटो बाटो भने पनि म बनाउँछु, पछि हाइवे त बन्दै गरौँला नि। At that point of time, that is my inspiration from each of you, okay? You have not walked the path that has been made by others. Like me, I walked a path that was made. BBA, MBA गरेँ, ब्याङ्कमा जागिर खाएँ, कत्रो ठुलो कुरा गरेर हैन। अर्को केही नयाँ, त्यो बेलामा फिनटेक गर्छु भनेदेखि केही हुन्थ्यो होला। So I want to ask you, starting from the start, where did you grow up? And when did tech become something that you were interested in?
I grew up, Tamilma. It's like very close by. Tamil Bhagwan Balma. Tech became probably fascination.
Where did you study? Where did you go to school?
Yeah, I went to St. Xavier School.
Okay.
And त्यसपछि ISC Birendra Sainik.
Okay. Oh.
Ani during ISC ko second year, I started applying for colleges. Okay. I applied to a whole bunch of colleges and ended up getting scholarships in a few. And actually, I went to college where Dillip went to college, Bates College.
Okay.
I influenced him. I said,
So यहाँ उर्केको अनि scholarship पाएर अमेरिका गयो. And I think from a tech fascination, I've thought about it quite a lot of times. Like, कहाँनिर चाहिँ मलाई यो speech system, AI systems बनाउन interest जाग्यो होला भनेर. And if I try to track it back, I don't have any particular aha moment or anything like that where I said, okay, I want to build a speech-to-speech translation system. But it probably got influenced by movies, sci-fi movies, where you have all these robotic systems doing things and AI systems talking in different languages and so forth.
Okay. Cinema हेर्नुपर्ने रहेछ त्यसपछि चाहिँ हैन, that you get inspiration. What did people think when you talk to them initially? Obviously now we all think, wow, he's a guru. But initially, were people skeptical? Were they supportive? When you said this is when they didn't even understand what you were talking about, speech-to-speech translation, AI.
कसैलाई मतलब थिएन.
तर विश्वास आफूलाई चाहिँ थियो.
It was never about my big part of the journey has not been about more company बनाउँछु or any of that. A lot of it was just pure interest in AI and trying to build machines that can talk. So त्यही भएर म कलेज गएर सेकेन्ड इयरमा I built the Nepali speech synthesizer. अनि यहाँ आएर नासमा प्रेजेन्ट पनि गरेँ. तर nobody cared.
ससुराले छोरी ट्रस्ट गर्नुभयो.
ब्याङ्कर नभएको. त्यति बेला लभ परिसकेको तर भनिसकेको चाहिँ थियो.
ब्याङ्कमा जागिर भन्नु सजिलो
हुन्थ्यो. तर अब नेपालमा obviously all parents want their kids to be doctor, engineer or ब्याङ्कमा काम गर्ने and so forth. त्यस्तै गरेर मेरो आमालाई चाहिँ डक्टर बनाउनु थियो. But I ended up getting scholarships, so went. तर मैले आमालाई भनेर गएको थिएँ, म बायोमेडिकल इन्जिनियरिङ पढ्छु आमा. त्यहाँ मेडिसिन त पढ्नु पाइँदैन कलेजमा, तर बायोमेडिकल इन्जिनियर, इट ह्याड अल द राइट सेट अफ वर्ड्स. अनि गएँ, त्यसपछि म्याथ र फिजिक्स पढ्न थालेँ बिकज द बेट्स कलेज इज अ लिबरल आर्ट्स कलेज. म्याथ र फिजिक्स पढ्न थालेँ अनि तर इन्ट्रेस्ट इन कम्प्युटर साइन्स. I really wanted to build a Nepali text-to-speech synthesizer for no reason. So picked up a book in the library called Voice Synthesis and then read about it and then started doing research on it. And that's how my AI journey started. And त्यति बेला nobody really cared about AI.
And Fusemachine, how did that come about?
So from college, as I made the speech synthesizer, Nepali speech synthesizer, then I wanted to make Nepali speech recognition system. To do it, then you can put together with a machine translation system to make speech-to-speech translation system. So during undergrad, I went to different universities, did research and made that. And that led me to doing a PhD, Columbia University, again on speech summarization, AI, and natural language processing, and so forth. To go to PhD sakine belama, I wanted to join a research group that are one of the best speech-to-speech translation research group. And त्यहाँबाट IBM गएँ अनि IBM मा 5 वर्ष research गरेछु. By this time, I had already done about 15 years of just AI research from the, not start a company, but just from a passion of doing research. And त्यति गरिसकेपछि चाहिँ at some point I thought, well, यो कति research गर्यो, कति सिक्यो, तर how do I take it to the world? मेरो साथीहरू जो are scientists, professors, they are all in different universities, running labs and so forth. I thought maybe I would want to take the learnings and try to build a product and take it out to the market so that it has a broader impact. And that was sort of the genesis of Fusemachines.
That was the genesis, but then how did the genesis become a reality in terms of a company which now is on the NASDAQ? I mean, did you get friends together? Did you just go out on your own? Or what did you do?
The first thing I did was the quit the job.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Which Mirama was not necessarily too keen about, right? It's like, you know, America, IBM, a good paying job. And then you take this deep plunge. And my family is not really from business background. So 2013 beginning, I said, okay, what do I want to build? The thing that I knew how to build the most is speech systems, language systems. So I decided to build a language system, basically a chatbot, question answering systems. Obviously, it was not as advanced as at all at that time. Only then, in my apartment in New York City, I just stayed in the apartment for a month and wrote the first version of the system myself. कोही पनि थिएन. त्यति बेला अहिलेको wife, त्यति बेलाको girlfriend, was very supportive of it.
Was she in New York as well?
She was in New York as well. She
Paid the bills.
Yeah, she paid the bills.
exactly.
Okay.
So she was super supportive. She was doing a PhD in neuroscience at that time. अनि मैले 1 महिनामा first version बनाएँ and त्यसपछि got some funding and then hired 2 friends basically, and that became a very small company. अनि company त बनायो तर obviously you need sales, you need a lot more things, right? And we started trying to go to, you know, different potential clients and so forth. That led us to a connection to New York City where we were able to pitch our first version of the system. And to pitch गर्दै गएर all the way to high levels pitch गरेपछि, then we got our first break where we were able to deploy हाम्रो customer service automation system. And in fact, our advisors said, don't say it's an AI system, just say it's natural language processing system. Because AI was not as hot, and in fact, AI has gone through these ups and downs where it has not kept its promises. So there was a lot of questions against AI. So we went and said, this is a natural language processing system that will reduce the load on the customer service agents because it will answer questions for you. And then we were able to do that, and that led to more clients and so forth.
So what does Fusemachine look like today? I mean, what does the company look like today?
So today we're headquartered in New York. We are one of our biggest office is in Nepal. We have offices in Canada, Dominican Republic, and teams in a few other countries. We still do actually dialogue systems, question answering systems, and so forth. We have a platform called AI Studio, which on top of which we build what we call AI engines, and we have team here and in a few other countries supporting the build of it and deploying it to the clients. And when some clients don't necessarily need those engines, have the teams customize and build other kinds of solutions, AI solutions for the potential clients.
And going on NASDAQ, has there been a positive, negative? I keep tracking your shares up and down, and, for some reason I get pleasure when it goes up, I feel down when it goes down, right?
Yeah,
Why?
it's gone down yesterday.
Yeah.
Even more. It's positive and negative for sure. Lots of positives, but it's decent amount of negatives as well. Positives in the sense that it adds that credibility because we sell mostly to large enterprise clients, very large retails, basically very large companies that makes billions of dollars in revenues. अनि त्यस्तो खालको ठुलो companyलाई always there is a risk on compliance and so forth. When you're a public company, we have to spend so much on compliance and data security and network security. They trust you more, so it opens doors more easily. There's better branding, so you are able to help recruit more talent. And the public vehicle allows us to raise more funds more easily if needed, whenever needed. Talent hire गर्दाखेरि पनि equity is no more locked equity, right? It's almost like real cash, and so forth. So there are a lot of positives, obviously. Negatives भन्ने कि it's the pressure of it is quite relentless. The price goes up, price goes down. Price goes up, everybody's happy. Price goes down, not a lot of people are happy. So there's quite a bit of pressure from being a public company. Plus all the regulations are very, very strict. So the legal fees, the accounting fees, the audit fees, these are some of the cash that you would rather spend on growth, but you still have to spend on all these compliance-related issues as a public
So
company.
what are we talking about in numbers? The size of Fusemachine now? Your volume of business? You're a publicly limited company, so it's out there. So.
Yeah, it's...
So what is ballpark figures? What would it be?
So if you look at the last year's revenue, we have not... The 10K is about to be filed.
Okay.
10K is about to be filed, so I cannot disclose. Our CFO is here as well, and she's been saying to everyone that these are MNPI, material non-public information, so I cannot disclose the last year's revenue. But if you look at the filing from 2024, we were at about $8-something million. And we hope to grow a lot more, obviously.
All right. And your vision, now we've been talking about AI and the impact and all, next few years, do you see it? Where do you see yourselves?
From projections perspective?
Yeah.
I cannot disclose projections either.
You American,
अहिले त every interview जाने भन्दा अगाडि the lawyers have to review it. Basically, I need a clearance, like all of that, because I'm not allowed to talk about some of the
There's a
numbers.
huge shield.
There's a huge shield.
You don't want to answer, I cannot. We're publicly But congratulations. It's really
Thank
something
you.
for all of us to be so proud about.
Thank
and
you.
I hope in the days ahead we see more.
Thank you.
Anchal ji, why did you come back?
Yeah, when I left Nepal, I was fairly young, 18 हुँदाखेरिका bachelor's गरेँ त्यसपछि bachelor'sमा पनि I think I was navigating a bit because यहाँ हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ अब good student भयो भने कि doctor कि engineer भन्ने path भयो अनि like he said US गएपछि अलि liberty भयो. So then I started taking a lot of like liberal arts classes all of that. So economics ma interest भयो. So I actually did math and economics major. Initially the engineer hunchu bhanera gएको थिएँ तर I realized that wasn't where my heart was. So bachelor सकेर काम गर्न थालेँ as an analyst. It opened doors to more like corporate strategy, marketing. I realized that I really enjoy like the corporate, like more the business aspect of things. And so that's when I did my MBA. And Ajit I will talk about, we went to the same school actually, University of Minnesota. So त्यहाँ MBA गरेँ, and so after working like 8 some years at a company, I was progressing, but I realized that, I wanted to do an MBA to add to my experience. And त्यसपछि I really wanted to work for a company that had a very different culture from my previous one. And so Amazon apply गरेको थिएँ, got a job, started working there. At some point, I worked at Amazon for like 6 years. At some point, कस्तो realization भयो भने, okay, promotion पनि भइरहेछ, more scope पनि भइरहेछ, it's a great company to work for. but now what भन्ने जस्तो चाहिँ अलि फिल हुन थाल्यो it was right around pandemic को अलिकति अगाडितिर होला and then I was also like okay non profit तिर जाने हो कि के गर्ने अलिकति all over the place जस्तो भइरहेको थिएँ किनभने I knew that whatever I was doing I was enjoying it but I knew that that wasn't it अनि सो बिल एन्ड मलिन्डा गेट्स फाउन्डेसनहरूमा पनि कुरा गरिरहेको थिएँ टु लुक फर समथिङ एल्स अनि त्यही बेलामा खास लिङ्क्डइनबाट एउटा मेसेज आयो ऱ्यान्डम मेसेज बेसिकली टकिङ अबाउट दिस रोल साउन्डेड इन्ट्रेस्टिङ फेल्ट मोर लाइक समथिङ द्याट वुड बी मोर फुलफिलिङ than what I was doing on त्यही I just didn't think much when I got the offer. I just said okay and I think at some point you also feel like okay मेरो चाहिँ दिमाग कसरी चल्छ भने what am I going to lose if this bombs and I felt like I had enough education and experience that म जे गरिरहेको थिएँ त्यो त म any day गएर फेरि पाउन सक्छु so I took a chance and I just came.
So what was the biggest sort of cultural shock or corporate shock from Amazon to Daraz?
Actually, pleasant cultural shock भन्नु पर्ला I always envision नेपालमा चाहिँ यो अलिकति societal कुराहरूले मलाई गाह्रो हुन्छ होला because yeah like I feel like sometimes I'm wired differently so त्यसले गर्दाखेरि गाह्रो हुन्छ होला surprisingly that hasn't been as hard I think it's also like अलिकति older भएपछि आफूलाई पनि line draw गर्न सजिलो हुन्छ I started like when I came back I lived by myself I keep like more of the social obligations away I just focus more on what I want to do so I think that's been helpful surprisingly like मलाई government organizationsहरूसँग पनि काम गर्नलाई it's actually been much easier than I had anticipated. I had anticipated a lot more sexism but surprisingly like government officesहरूमा चाहिँ I've had so far a really good conversation so that's been pleasant even in terms of company अघि मैले कुरा गरेँ भने अलिकति culture पनि I was expecting कि त्यो level of performance छैन होला तर maybe MNC भएकोले पनि I mean the systems processes were like fairly built the level of performance from the employees is like yeah really good so more on the pleasant
that's
culture
nice.
shock for me.
I'm leading Daraz through a transformation. I mean, I've seen Daraz being the banking partner and all that in the initial stage. Forget about Daraz, but when you look back and look inside yourself, what has it taught you about yourself? I mean, when you look back, it's like, yeah, okay.
It's taught me that I'm very resilient. किनभने एक्सटर्नली कुरा गर्दाखेरि बल्ल थाहा हुन्छ कि हाउ डिफिकल्ट the 4 years किनभने आफूलाई चाहिँ त्यस्तो डिफिकल्ट आई एम स्योर यु गाइज फिल दिस वे राइट लाइक वेन एभर सम वान एज लाइक ओके त्यस्तो कसरी गऱ्यो भन्दाखेरि ए ओ आई डोन्ट नो भने जस्तो हुन्छ होइन आई थिङ्क इनिसियली सो आई बिन हियर 4 years द फर्स्ट 2 years it was more about building a culture for me किनभने स्टिल नेपालमा चाहिँ एकदमै टप डाउन खाले corporate culture even in MNCs you will see some aspects of that and like I remember the first month or whatever I was here someone set up a meeting with me to decide यो फलानु अफिसको चाहिँ कुन कलरको कर्टन राख्ने and I'm just like okay
that's an important decision.
MD doesn't need to decide this right like or like अब logistics को decision गर्नको लागि something that has financial implications they wouldn't talk to finance they just want to come to the MD decides and they will execute which sounded very weird to me so then I consistently pushed कि तिमीहरू आफू discuss गर talk to all the other leaders who are going to be impacted and all of this so it took almost 2 years to build this culture of like making data driven collaborative decisions versus like constantly asking MD to like हामीलाई भन्दियो I think it's also अलिकति cultural है हामी we grew up adultsले भनेको सुन भन्ने जस्तो खाले अनि so that is something that I worked on for like 2 years I mean decision making भयो or like meetingsहरूमा ensuring that the analyst is actually also being able to like share their opinions अलिकति यो दिदी जी म्याम भन्ने culture I tell them just call me Anchal. I think it creates a little bit of divide. So त्यस्तो कुराहरुमा focus गरे, more like customer centric. अब Amazon जुन कुराहरु सिकेको थिएँ त्यस्तो कुराहरु अलिकति focus गर्ने try गरे first 2 years. The second 2 years चाहिँ interestingly I was 6 months pregnant when the company decided that we were going to change the direction of the company to go from growth focused to sustainability focused. And yeah, looking back, I realized that that was a very difficult phase, in that there were a lot of navigation to be done in terms of like functionsहरु चाहिँ centralize गर्ने, कुन functionsहरु यहाँ राख्ने, how do you navigate like which employees are the critical for you to keep, we didn't even know if we were going to be यस्तो ग्रोथमा फोकस थियो, यति धेरै स्पेन्ड गरिरहेको थियो, we didn't even know we were going to hit the target that year. But despite all of that, I took 2 months maternity leave, came back, and within 6 months of that change, we hit our sustainability target, and we were the first country out of the 5 in Daraz to hit that. So I'm very proud of that.
Wow, that's amazing! Congratulations.
So yeah, looking back, I think it's done.
So how big is Daraz now in terms of sellers, users?
So sellers 24,000 plus.
Okay.
As of right now, and yeah, like private companies, so can't share a lot of numbers, but just to give you some reference points, 11/11 is our biggest day.
Yeah.
So 11/11 ma chahi we have around 12 lakhs customers who come to our app or like our the sales for that day was 4 crore Nepali rupiah.
For that day?
One day.
Yeah. I know the 11/11. I was banker when we didn't really believe 11/11 would be this big. And 11/11 in Nepal, it was the first time they did 11/11 there, this, that, and all that. I think it was before your time, and the whole system went like just blocked and blocked, and we were the only ones, the gateway at that point of time. And I still remember how successful that was. So how does a logistic company actually work in Nepal where you don't have addresses? My daughter is getting married, and one of my biggest problems is invitation card कसरी deliver गर्ने. Only way is यता मैले चिन्नु भएको छैन, यो 4वटा लगिदिनु चाहिँ, यो 5वटा लगिदिनु चाहिँ, यो गरेर चाहिँ. How did you overcome that?
That's old school. There's many ways.
WhatsApp.
And it's still challenging. It's not just त्यो geolocation, त्यो delivery location मात्रै पनि हैन कि, even about safety. So I lived in the US for a long time. अब US मा त you can just leave the package at someone's door and that's fine. अब यहाँ त त्यो गर्न मिलेन. So then logistics gets challenging because you do have to call the customer, make sure that they're home or they're at least okay with like you leaving your package with someone. Then sense of direction exact mostly precise. So then you go and then you still have to meet that person and then deliver. And we promote returns. The returns pani still low percentage because we want people to return more, because I think that's what builds trust. Tara त्यो return ko pani फेरि त्यही hassle छ, and so people don't take that hassle to return if it's a small amount ko saman ki. So I think that's where the challenge still remains. Tara we do our best.
And the tech stack that you use, is it local? Is it like your global?
No, so we have Alibaba owned ho हामी. So we use all Alibaba technology.
So that's also I think a formidable entry barrier, just like if someone else wanted to make another marketplaces. At the end, the core is the tech, right?
Yeah, I think that's where people underestimate what it takes to run an e-commerce company. My Amazon ma काम गर्दाखेरि I used to work in global expansion. So even Amazon जस्तो company with the strongest technology, when we expanded to Australia at the time, first 10 years unprofitable थियो कि. That's the amount of like money that you burn when you go into a new country. So yeah, like investment wise, it takes a lot, and I think that's why you see like across the globe a big tech companies हरूले नै मात्रै चलाइरहेछ कि खास e-commerce. अब इन्डियामा I think अलिकति fast commerce योहरू चाहिँ चलिरहेछ अहिले, तर mostly it's big companies because the tech investment is just that heavy.
So where do you see your Daraz going next year, couple of years? What's the
No,
next
it's
thing?
going really well. Like I said, I think even across our ventures, Daraz, Nepal is the fastest growing. 40% growth year over year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's remained consistent. अब अलिकति हामीले switch गर्दाखेरि there's a bit of up and down. Historically अब electronicsहरू मात्रै अलिकति more focus थियो भने अहिले FMCG, health and beauty, mother and baby, a lot of like even diaper brands have actually like launched on Daraz and have expanded to the market. अब अनि FMCG more like health and beauty, mother and baby भयो. Fashion is another growing segment. So yeah, for us the growth looks promising. And funny किनभने कति टाइम्स अब नेपालमा चाहिँ अलिकति हुन्छ नि अब पोलिटिकली स्टेबल भएन यस्तो कन्भर्सेसन हुन्छ तर whenever I talk to my leadership they think of Nepal as the most stable because they're dealing with Pakistan, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and Myanmar. So I think it's all about perspective.
Absolutely. I think that's a good point. It's all relative. When we keep thinking, oh, yeah, there are many countries which are far, far less stable than we are. Dillip ji, to you. I want to just start. What was Nepal's internet like when you started? I mean, first of all, where were you based when you were a student? You were based. How did the idea come? How did you make it? How did you make WorldLink actually happen? My first email ID was
wlink.com.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mine too.
Yeah.
So I think back in '95 there was no internet in Nepal. In fact, there was no internet in most of South Asia at that time. Internet भनेको चाहिँ त्यति बेला अमेरिकामा एजुकेसनल इन्स्टिट्युसन्स रिसर्च इन्स्टिट्युसन्स र मिलिट्रीले प्रयोग गर्ने प्रविधि थियो हैन युरोपमा पनि खासै त्यसको त्यति विकास भइसकेको थिएन हैन अनि अमेरिकामा चाहिँ हामी चलाउँथ्यौँ इमेल पठाउँथ्यौँ च्याट गर्थ्यौँ हैन र चाहिँ it was free so हामीलाई एकदमै मन पर्थ्यो we used to play even games on it text based games no graphics अनि म चाहिँ मेरो कलेजमा समीर बडेकै कलेजमा आई वाज अ जुनियर थर्ड इयर स्टुडेन्ट थिएँ र चाहिँ म चाहिँ मेरो बुवा बायोकेमिस्ट हुनुहुन्थ्यो म पनि बायोकेमिस्ट्री नै पढे हो र म इकोनोमिक्स र न्युरो साइन्सेस तीनटा सब्जेक्ट चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ अलि बढी फोकस गरिरहेको थिएँ तर त्यति बेला चाहिँ मेरो दाइ कम्प्युटर इन्जिनियरिङ गरिराख्नु भएको थियो र उहाँले चाहिँ आफ्नो फुर्सदको बेलामा he had set up an email server. त्यति बेला चाहिँ लिनक्स अपरेटिङ सिस्टम एकदमै ब्रान्ड न्यू थियो हैन सो उसले चाहिँ टिङ्कर गरेर एउटा लिनक्स हाल्यो लिनक्स हालेपछि एउटा युनिक्समा एउटा प्रोटोकल थियो इमेल एक्सचेन्ज गर्ने युयुसिपी भन्ने त्यो हालेर उसले इमेल सर्भर बनायो अनि मलाई उसले भन्यो ल दिलीप तिमी ट्राई गर त मैले एउटा इमेल सर्भर सेटअप गरेको छु wlinku.com कि के एउटा डोमेन राखेको थियो उसले अनि मैले भने ठिक छ ट्राई गरौँ न त अनि ट्राई गर्दाखेरि इमेल त गयो आयो पनि अनि मैले भने यो त एकदमै राम्रो कुरा हो अब तिमी जाऊ नेपाल हाल्देऊ यसलाई हैन सिम्पल कुरा हो हैन किनभने अब नेपाल कल गर्न मिल्दैन थियो हैन इट वाज प्रोहिबिटिभली एक्सपेन्सिभ उताबाट महिनामा 2 महिनामा एउटा कल हुन्थ्यो त्यो पनि 2-3 मिनट सबै ठिक छ सिद्धियो हैन है मात्रै कलिङ कार्ड कुनै दिन कसैको पाएर हैन त्यो फेक कलिङ कार्डहरु पाउँथ्यो के त्यति बेला हैन त्यो बेला चाहिँ 30 मिनट 1 घण्टा कुरा हुन्थ्यो हारौँ तिम्रो बेलामा हुन्थ्यो कि हुँदैन थियो हैन people would like circulate these calling cards that were basically stolen off somebody or something. I don't know. I know. It's too long back to bring criminal liability. तर मैले भने गएर हाल्दिऊ न त मेरो दाइलाई भने अनि उहाँले चाहिँ हैन म त जान्न मलाई इच्छा छैन हैन अनि मलाई त्यो एकदमै इच्छा गरे के गर्ने लाइक आई फेल्ट लाइक आई ह्याड टु डु दिस सो एउटा भित्रैबाट एउटा ममा कन्भिक्सन आयो कि यो चाहिँ मैले गर्नै पर्छ जसरी पनि अनि मैले चाहिँ डोरमै बसेर मलाई कम्प्युटर्समा सुरुदेखि नै धेरै नै इन्ट्रेस्ट थियो दाइ कम्प्युटर इन्जिनियरिङ भनेपछि म त्यो विषयतिर त्यसपछि पढ्नै सोचिनँ तर आफै बसेर त्यसलाई चाहिँ इन्स्टल गरेर पुरै रेडी गरेर एउटा कम्प्युटरमा रेडी गरेर कलेजको थिसिस रिसर्चको लागि मैले ग्रान्ट पाएको थिएँ एउटा त्यो ग्रान्टको पैसा पनि त्यसैमा खनियाइदिएँ मैले बेट्सले $3500 दिएको थियो क्या मलाई हैन अनि मैले भने बुवाको ल्याबमा गएर रिसर्च गर्छु अनि बेट्सले मलाई पर्मिसन पनि दियो नर्मली दिँदैन थियो सो आई केम टु नेपाल इन मे अफ 1995 विथ अ कम्प्युटर एन्ड अ मोडेम अनि आई सेट द्याट अप त्यति बेला चाहिँ अब यिनीहरूलाई थाहा छैन होला यु मे रिमेम्बर टेलिफोन लाइन पनि पाइँदैन थियो होइन अनि बुवाको रिसर्च ल्याब थियो बायोकेमिस्ट्रीको उहाँको फ्याक्स लाइन चोरिदिन्थेँ म फ्याक्स लाइन झिकेर मोडेममा हालिदिन्थेँ अनि त्यसरी नै चलाएँ होइन and got it up and running, got the service up and running, and then I had to leave again to finish my studies. So that's how the whole thing started.
So who were your first customers?
My first customers were basically PCOs.
Okay.
Okay. So again, for people who here don't know, PCOs are where these shops where you could go and make a phone call, send an email. They were PCOs. They were travel companies. They were expats and the Nepalese who were aware that such a service existed. Academia ko pani huन्थ्यो, international business गर्ने हैन व्यक्तिहरू, they were the first customers, but Anil, we were like extremely unknown and small. Again, like him, I didn't belong to a business family. I didn't have any connections in Kathmandu, and nobody trusted me. My office was in my house. When people would come and meet me, they would run away. Okay, they would be like, hey, यसले केटोहरुले सुरु गरे कम्पनी हो, यिनीहरुसँग इमेल लियो भने हाम्रो इमेलै हराउला कि हैन. No one trusted us. I would try to hide if somebody said they want to come and see my office because I didn't have an office. And to make matters worse, when people came, my father would discourage them. He would be like, oh, you know, Dillip is doing this thing. I don't know why he's getting into business. Business त गर्नै नहुने कुरा छ. Academics पढ्नु पर्ने हो, professor बन्नु पर्ने हो. हैन के बिजनेसमा लागेर आफ्नो जिन्दगी बर्बाद गर्दै छ. त्यो मर्केन्टाइल कम्पनी छ एउटा. त्यो मर्केन्टाइलसँग कम्पिट गर्न सक्छ र यसले भनेर सबैलाई भन्नुहुन्थ्यो, मलाई गाली गर्नुहुन्थ्यो. हैन एउटा प्रोफेसरहरु आउँथ्यो अमेरिकाबाट इमेल सेटअप गरिदियो भनेर उनीहरुलाई पनि भन्नुहुन्थ्यो यो चाहिँ I don't know what my son has gotten into, you know, but you know it's not going to work out because how can he compete with such big companies and he doesn't have resources. I told him he should get a PhD like me, you know, and go into academics. So anyway, I used to have to deal with all this stuff, a lot of discouragement around me. But किन ममा एउटा त्यो जोसै आइसक्यो. Maybe it was my father actually when I look back. त्यो हुन्छ नि when somebody says you can't do it or you shouldn't do it, त्यो एजमा झन् जागेर आउँछ के गरेर नै देखाउनु पर्छ जसरी पनि गर्नुपर्छ. So I think that really pushed me and motivated me that यो त जसरी पनि गर्नुपर्छ. And through thick or thin I thought I have to do this. And I kept at it.
So from that point to now running the biggest company in the domain, what was the turning point, like the leapfrog point when you know sort of like यसबाट चाहिँ अब म अगाडि बढेँ, and not the recent international investment and all, but before that WorldLink had become a household name. So how did that happen? So you went back to college, then you came back.
I came back after a year. हैन ग्रेजुएसन हुन साथ हैन अब यहाँ अमेरिका पढ्या धेरै जना छन्, सबैजना छन् जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ. र ग्रेजुएसन पछि कोही रमाइलो गर्न यता जान्छ उता जान्छ. म चाहिँ साथीहरुलाई चाहिँ अहिले ग्रेजुएसन गरे त्यो राति फ्लाइटमा बसेर म नेपाल पुगिसके हैन. अब किनभने मलाई यति प्रेसर आउन थाल्यो किन यहाँ मैले चाहिँ मेरो दुईजना कजिनहरुलाई पार्टनरशिपमा राखेको थिएँ. उनीहरुलाई भ्याउनै सकेन. कहिले सर्भरमा यो प्रब्लम आउने, कहिले के आउने हैन. फोनमा सपोर्ट गरेर बस्ने म. You know, I used to be the one who was remotely, I was remote working from that time onwards. हैन अनि मलाई चाहिँ I had to come back because there were just so many complaints and because the infrastructure I had put in was outdated. It just couldn't keep up with the volume. And so I came back and I was the only techie at that time for a decade since the company started. So I had to take care of everything. And I don't know, I think we were very naive at that time and very in a way foolish because we didn't really know how the world worked or how business worked or how the government worked or how licensing and regulations worked. When we started, we didn't even register a company. थाहा नै थिएन कम्पनी पनि रेजिस्टर गर्नुपर्छ भनेर हैन. अनि म कम्पनी सेवा सञ्चालन भएको 3-4 महिनापछि कम्पनी रेजिस्टर भयो किनभने a customer said I want an invoice. ए हो इन्भोइस पनि हुँदो रहेछ है इन्भोइस पनि दिनु पर्दो रहेछ हैन. अनि त्यसको 2-3 वर्षपछि बल्ल नेपाल सरकारले पनि त्यति बेला हिज म्याजेस्टिज गभर्नमेन्टले हामीलाई लाइसेन्स दियो. Because they realized that people are doing email service but they don't have any license. होइन त्यसपछि NTS स्थापना भयो, things improved regulatory wise, but we just kept at it, and I don't know why we kept at it. Maybe we didn't know anything else, or maybe we were just driven by passion. And I tell people that for the first 19 years we just drifted. We did manage to serve customers, but the way we served them was not industry standard. We didn't have any technology, we didn't have any wireless spectrum, we didn't have copper cables that NTC had. We had to make do with whatever infrastructure we would build ourselves. And the turning point came in, I think, 2013-14 tira, when we took a leap of faith and decided to invest 100 crores in fiber in Kathmandu. होइन त्योभन्दा पहिला चाहिँ fiber was prohibitively expensive, तर चाइनामा China Telecomले धेरै fiber हाल्यो 2012-13 tira. That brought down global prices. So we thought that now we have to scrap everything we have. We have to kill all the business we have. Wireless network hosts, copper network hosts. We have to get rid of everything and only focus on fiber, which was a very, if you think about it, it was very counterintuitive because we already had a network that was giving us revenue and that was serving customers. But we had to consciously decide to scrap everything and build a new network, which I think was the best decision we ever made. And that was the turning point.
That's I think that deflection point, countries come to it and institutions come to it. If you had decided to stay in the comfort zone, I think you wouldn't have been around even today.
Yeah, we would be gone.
In the thing.
Yeah.
So how many customers do you have? What's
Today we serve around 1.1 million households.
Okay.
In terms of numbers, it's maybe around 4 to 5 million users. There are approximately 4.5 users per household, and we carry around 40% of all traffic in the country. So, when Nepal is a very unique case study globally, and I won't take full credit for it because there are many other ISPs in the market who have done an equally great job over the years. But Nepal is the only country I know of where the data consumption happens through a Wi-Fi network put in by an ISP rather than through a mobile network.
Okay.
So the mobile network's share of the data is just 15%, combining both NTC and Encel. Okay? 85% happens on the ISP's network. Okay, so we are 40%. We are 40%. NTC, Encel combined would be around 15, maybe 17% on their mobile network side. NTC, of course, has a fiber as well, so they have additional on that. But the rest is all on Wi-Fi that is backhauled on fiber networks put in by service providers.
Wow, that's amazing. We don't hear many cases like this. In Nepal, we only hear nakaratmak kuraharu हैन, यो भएन, यो छैन, त्यो छैन, यस्तो कुराहरु पनि हैन, धेरै यस्तो कुराहरु पनि छन् जुन चाहिँ भइरहेको छ. तर पैसो कसरी बन्छ त WorldLink मा? Is it all subscription only, or what is it?
Yeah, so Nepal also has one of the lowest internet costs or charges in the world. अहिले चाहिँ 800 rupees is like the average rate. If you translate into dollars, that's like $5.5. So $5.5 मा कहीं पनि 100 Mbps bandwidth आउँदैन. And that's all because of very cutthroat competition. And I think the other thing to thank is I blame a lot of the tangled wires around towns on ISPs. But those tangled wires are the reason why internet is so cheap, because the government has stayed out of regulation. So हाम्रो जस्तो देशमा चाहिँ when the government steps in and tries to regulate things, usually they make a mess of it. And in my industry, fortunately, the government has stayed out of regulating how ISPs build their networks.
Okay.
As a result, anyone on this table can tomorrow decide to put wires and start their own ISP, and that has what's brought down the prices of internet service in Nepal.
Okay, where do you see WorldLink going from here? I mean, you got a huge investment, international investment as well, I think. So where do you see it going, and what are your vision statements now for the next few years?
You see, the broadband market that we serve using fiber has a limited scope in terms of the areas, the geographical areas we can serve. हामी चाहिँ विकटको गाउँपालिकामा गएर इन्टरनेट सेवा दिन सक्दैनौँ फाइबरबाट. हामी के अमेरिकामा पनि गर्न सकेका छैनन् हैन, किनभने इट्स जस्ट टु एक्सपेन्सिभ हैन. फेरि गाउँघरहरूतिर हामीले सेवा लग्न जाँदाखेरि त्यहाँ चाहिँ डिपपुलेसन पनि भइरहेछ हैन. सो हामी 4-5 वर्ष अगाडि धेरै रुरल एक्सपेन्सन गऱ्यौँ हैन. त्यसको लागि हामीले विदेशी इन्भेस्टमेन्ट पनि लिएर आयौँ. तर what we realize is that when we go to a rural community, हामी एउटा प्लान लिएर जान्छौँ यति कस्टमर बन्ला भनेर, तर we realize that people are leaving at a pace that causes actually the business to degrow over time. So फाइबरबाट चाहिँ हामीले सर्भ गर्ने कस्टमरहरू नेपालमा मलाई लाग्छ 1-2 वर्षमा स्याचुरेटै हुन्छ हैन. किनभने जुन पपुलेसन सेन्टरहरूमा छ तपाईँ नेपालमा कहीँ पनि जानुहोस् आजको दिनमा you will get fiber broadband. It could be from WorldLink, it could be from another provider, but it is there. And that's something to be very, very proud of. किनभने त्यस्तो तपाईँ विकसित मुलुकमा पनि पाउनुहुन्न हैन. भनेपछि हाम्रो अब बजार पनि अलिकति स्याचुरेट हुँदै गइरहेछ. त्यसैले हामीले नेपाल सरकारलाई विगत 15 वर्षदेखि गुहारिरहेछौँ कि हामीलाई पनि मोबाइलको लाइसेन्स दिनुस् हैन. आजको दिनमा WorldLink is the 3rd largest operator in the country by revenue, by size, everything हैन. भनेपछि why not us हैन. Why monopolize this? Why keep it in the hands of 2 companies? Why make the people of this country suffer with very low quality mobile services? तपाईहरु सबैले एक्सपिरियन्स गरिराख्नु भयो होला विगत 3 वर्ष 4 वर्षदेखि the quality of mobile data has really gone down. And I think there is a gap that a company like WorldLink can really fill, and we are well positioned to do it. So that's one thing I'm hoping will happen. It's not in our hands. Another thing that we're looking at is data centers. So we have built Nepal's first Tier 3 data center. Data center ma certification huncha. So Tier 3 data center हामीले grounds up बनाएको छौं. It's like a purpose built data center. र चाहिँ त्यो data center मा चाहिँ हामीहरु we are very hopeful that that's going to kick off a new business in this country of data centers. Okay. And once people see WorldLink's data center doing well, which I hope it will do, then a lot of people will replicate it. And that's going to build a very critical digital infrastructure that we need for modernizing, for AI enabling Nepal. Currently, fiber infrastructure is in place, but the data center infrastructure in Nepal is lacking. So that we are building, and hopefully more of that will come in the future.
Just one quick question which we keep hearing, Elon Musk had a one-on-one with Right Honorable Prime Minister also. Starlink's up there. We see it in the skies from time to time. What is your views on Starlink in Nepal?
So I actually spoke out very vocally about this, and to the extent that some reporters here said that I'm Starlink's agent, which I don't mind being. Oh, yes. Because I don't support just Starlink. I would support, Amazon is going to come out with their own service. China is going to come out with their own service. I heard even India is going to come out. So I'll support all of them. Because हाम्रो देशको भौगोलिक बनावट यस्तो छ कि हामीले ती ठाउँहरुमा इन्टरनेट सेवा पुर्याउनै सक्दैनौं. We cannot do it. None of us can do it. The only guy who can do it is Elon Musk. So why not promote Elon Musk? मेरो भनाइ के छ भने मेरो एउटा उत्तरदायित्व छ यो देशमा. I must deliver quality internet service to every citizen. That's why we exist. That's why we're doing business. अब मैले चाहिँ त्यो दार्चुलाको विकट गाउँमा दिन सकिन भने इलोन मस्कको टेक्नोलोजी छ भने त्यो लिएर पनि त गर्दिनु पर्यो नि. So that's what I've been lobbying to the Nepal government about. कि त्यो टेक्नोलोजी छ भने हामी हाल्दिउँ न हैन, के जान्छ र हाम्रो हैन. Let's get out of the geopolitical mindset. Let's just go and do it. Because it's going to benefit that person. And no one loses anything. As for some people say that let the WorldLink लाई पनि competition दिन्छ, मलाई लाग्छ खासै दिदैन. किनभने हामी $5-6 मा बेच्छौं, इलोन मस्कले $30 $100 मा बेच्छ हैन. So maybe Anil, you may keep one in your house as a backup, in case Nepal government shuts down the internet, but it will be a backup. It won't be like your primary line.
All right. I love that mindset, I love that mindset. And also, if you're giving us quality service, why would we go to somewhere else for a higher price. We just
and pay
wouldn't.
6, 7, 8 times more. No one
Or
would.
the proof of the pudding is in the eating. If Nepal Airlines was flying quality flights, none of us would fly any other airlines to wherever Nepal Airlines flew. I remember going to Frankfurt and all these places, same airline, and now it's just sitting. So it's the same thing. Mr. Shah, coming to you. म ब्याङ्कमा जोइन गर्दाखेरि some people who didn't like me used to say, यो ठगुरी बाबु साहब जागिर खाएर बस्छ र यो त केही वर्ष मात्रै त हो नि, त्यसपछि त यो घर जाने हो, भाडा खाएर बस्ने हो, ठगुरीहरू पनि काम गर्छ र भने जस्तो. When did entrepreneurship get into you, and how did it find you, or did you find it?
I'm still trying to figure that out. But before I answer that, you mentioned earlier that you have a lot of respect for everybody in the table because we're all doing our own frontier things. I think I should also mention on the record that I'm very inspired by you as well, because though you walked a path where there was already a sanu bato, but then I think making it even bigger and making banking accessible to so many people, I think you have a good, strong hand in that. So I think the respect is mutual. Now coming back to the entrepreneurship question, one of the reasons why people don't trust me with business is because of my last name.
Yeah.
Fortunately, in India they trust me because they think I'm a Gujarati.
Gujarati. Me too.
So there's a true story. There was a negotiation I had done with a customer in India, and I'll not mention names, but so I negotiated, and then they agreed. Right, and later over lunch, he realized that I was not a Gujarati, and he said, "Had I known, I would have pushed harder." Right? So I think there is that context, but I think much of it, the entrepreneur genes probably came from my mother, right? So my dad's a Shah, my mom's maiden Shrestha, right? So, and the dynamic worked pretty well, I feel, is because my dad's the visionary. He's the dreamer. He wants to, we have a carpet factory, right? So that's, and then my mom is like, okay, how do we? My brother is looking after it right now. My brother and my sister-in-law. But my mom's like, how do we produce? How do we manage everything? And my dad's saying, how do you put a carpet in every household in the world? Right. So I mean, that's how I grew up, right? And I think everything that I'm involved today also has a basis from that. In terms of entrepreneurship, I've made a lot of mistakes. I think, even Dillip knows that I was in the internet business as well. That's still around. I don't know where it is right now, but it's still around. But it's one of those non-existent internet business.
It was more Krishna,
So
right?
he was very involved. Then I came in, and then right. And but what the internet business taught me was I will not get into any business that's very capital heavy, intensive. I'd rather focus on OpEx heavy business so that I can actually do that. And everything that I'm doing right now is just that. Again, the entrepreneurial bug. I think I'm since the school days, I was always there to sort of create value for others, right? In the school days, my dad used to travel quite a bit, so I used to photocopy the international magazines he used to bring home and then sell it to my friends. I struggled with pricing.
Ask what magazine.
I used to sell it to my friends. No idea what you're talking about. Right? So
Pre-internet days, right?
So the entrepreneurial interest was there, right? So if I found a group of people that could value something, then I would sort of bring them, and then there was some transaction happening. But I was very bad in pricing because I didn't really make any money, right? So it was almost like I got the high of, I solved the problem for these guys, right? And the same story continued. Then I went to the US. I started college in '97 when that was .com was just coming up, and then the whole Netscape days. This is pre-Google and almost pre, all that stuff. But then every time I got an opportunity to help others, I would do it, and that pulled me towards, I think, getting into the entrepreneurial sort of mindset. And for me, businesses may be businesses, but to me, it's always people. I don't look at businesses as businesses, but I look at people. I look at WorldLink as, oh, I know Dillip, or or Samriddai, or Anchal, or Karvika, right? Or even you. I mean, when I came to, I used to bank with Nabil Bank quite a bit because it was you, right? It wasn't Nabil Bank. It was like, okay, I know. Let me just message him and all that stuff. So it's always people, but I made sure that he always was keen to meet me. Right, the relationship,
Yes,
and till
yeah.
date I'm like that, right? So I value relationships very well, and I felt in sort of providing a need to somebody, or sort of providing solving a problem for somebody, they liked it, and that strengthened my relationship. So I think maybe my pursuit of growing my relationship with everybody, business entrepreneurship was just one of the means to do that. So I'm still trying to figure that out. So.
Yeah. So this whole concept of making Nepal the hub of outsourcing, and then your company doing that, how did that happen? And there are certain perceptions, like when you say Silicon Valley and you say I'm making chips and I'm based in Silicon Valley, people will say, yeah, okay, let's talk. But if you say I'm making chips and I'm based in Namche Bazaar, for instance, people will say, what? Everest? What are you doing making chips there?
Right.
So we are not known for, if you're in India, in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, wherever it is, they say, okay, they're coming out of Kathmandu and then saying this. How did that come about, and how is it going? What's happening?
By accident. I had no idea about the offshoring business, but I valued relationships. So there was a gentleman who my parents did philanthropy work together in Nepal. John Cook was the founder. He's no more, but he was the founder of FlexTex, where I got involved into the offshoring industry. Essentially, he saw something, and he wanted to set up a back office in Nepal, and he told me and said, Ajit, I need a local partner. Can you be my local partner? And he approached me because he trusted me, right? And I said yes because I trusted him too, because I told him, John, I have no idea what you're asking me to do, but if I can be of help, I'll do it. That's how I got into the offshoring business, actually, right? And we started with about 6 people around 2013. Yeah, 2013, something like that. And then slowly we sort of grew. And when I saw what our people were doing, right? So the people here were working with Fortune 10 companies around the world. I can't mention their names again for various reasons, but large companies. And then the Nepalese team were working with them, cracking jokes, talking to them. And I said, oh my God, wow, look at this. I'd never seen somebody in Jaulakhel and then talking to somebody in Seattle and their counter team in Bangalore, having that video conference and actually cracking jokes. And I said, oh my goodness, there's something that's happening here, right? And that's when I said, okay, I wanna do more of this, because and then that's sort of how I got into this entire offshoring thing. That's when I also believed that Nepalese people have the skill sets and the talent to actually do, because the proof of the pudding is in eating, right? The customers were happy. They renewed the services. Our guys were happy. Our investors were happy. Our partners were all happy. I should set the record straight. We did struggle for the first 7 years, where we sort of had really near-death experiences with the company. But we got lucky, and then it's now grown to about, that particular company has grown to about 600 people already right now.
600 people?
600 people. But I'm not involved in operations. I realized that the more I got involved in operations, I would mess it up. Right? So I just took a back seat and said, how can I help?
Yeah.
Can I help with the local governance? Can I help with sales? Can I help get investors? And all that also happened through, again, my pursuit of building relationships around the world. So I think, to answer your question as to, how I sort of positioned how I sort of dreamed that Nepal has a potential to be the back office of the world. And now it has to, that thing has morphed a little bit because of AI, right? So it'll still be the back office of the world, but I think in terms of, will it be actually humans or will it be non-humans, agents, right? So that's something that I'm still sort of, I'm in a dichotomy there, but maybe it'll be a combination of both, right? But again, I think we put all the recipe for that to happen.
So how do you find these? I mean, you're based in Kathmandu. Your companies are global. Kathmandu is not the logical choice for where they will come to look for outsourcing. How do you? Is it your contacts? Is it YPO, YEO? you know, EO,
So I'm so yeah.
political
that's-
parties. What is it? Mafia.
No, none of the above.
That hair, you
None
know.
of the above. No. So I think, it's again, I'm a connector, right? So I'm part of different communities, right? So for example, one day I was looking at LinkedIn and then I noticed that Anchal also went to the same school as me. And then I was not shy to ask her, hello, hey fellow
That is
gopher.
true.
No.
Oh, gopher, right? That's our, and then I hope she was from there, but otherwise, because this is just gonna
No, it was random, but it was very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So that's how, because I went to school there and I saw a connect there, and I was not shy enough to say. I think the rule number one in making connections is just don't be an asshole. Everything will be fine, right? And sort of that's how I'm a part of various communities, right? So I am part of some business CEO organizations. I'm part of through the American Chamber of Commerce. I'm part of the U.S. Chamber, because the AmCham Nepal is a chapter of the U.S. Chamber here. Just like that, I'm part of other communities as well, right? From my local school board to to CNI, the local chamber, so I got a chance to sort of, if you really look at it, right, every opportunity I've had a chance to connect with that community, I've always sort of, that happens subconsciously for me, I feel, right? And then next thing you know, that the latest startup is actually maybe that story, because I got a chance to work with CNI and I lead, and then I think I did a few things right, and next thing you know, there's some people who wants to put money into my next venture, right? So that was nice, and that has sort of happened, which is kind of scary also, because it could go sideways as well. Then nobody wants to work with you anymore. So far God's been kind, but that's how I sort of meet with potential investors, potential customers, and what I do is I don't call somebody and say, hey, buy my stuff. I will call that person and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you help me? So that person is not necessarily buying it, but he or she has a referral, right? And especially for businesses and sales these days, you could do some product, because I spend a lot of time with enterprise sales as well. In fact, somebody that I was, the enterprise sale is so different from the other non-enterprise sales. So I've spent a lot of time in enterprise sales, and it's interesting, but then it's very different. So you need a lot of warm referrals, and that's So essentially, you do have to know people around the world, and then they should be happy to give you that referral. Right? And now I'm experimenting on digital marketing, which is completely different, right? Cold call. So, and then AI is actually quite amazing. So we are trying out a few things, but we'll see how that goes.
No, the reason I brought that up is throughout my career and all, got to observe a lot of people. And Nepalको यो networking भन्ने चाहिँ is in an evolutionary stage जस्तो लाग्छ कि मलाई चाहिँ. Networking forumsहरू हुन्छन् यो त्यो, and then when you talk to people, के गर्यो, हामी यहाँ गयौँ, यस्तो गऱ्यौँ, यो गऱ्यौँ, मेरो भिडियो देख्नु भएन, यो त्यो, and चाहिँ हैन अरु के गर्यौँ त भन्दा, that is networking. यो पार्टी गऱ्यौँ, त्यहाँ गयौँ, दुबई गयौँ, यहाँ गयौँ, यो गऱ्यौँ. You're one of the few people who I see have got it on the thing. Anybody who wants to find a mentor for how to network, he's the man. He's really got, and without being abrasive or in your face and all that, but doing it in a way whereby he's there, he's having fun, he's enjoying, but he's also focused on what can I get out of this thing and this conversation. Karvika ji, coming to you now. Oh. So what was life before Kimbu? And what triggered starting it?
Life was fun. White
Yeah.
fenced yard next to Boston. My kids were growing up there. Beautiful lawn, nice cars. Working for the best companies, both me and my husband. We were living the American dream for 14 years.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was life.
Wow.
And working for big tech companies, getting up at 8 o'clock, putting the kids to daycare, coming back, fixing the dinner, putting the kids to bed, and finishing up your work, and still being in the American corporate
yeah.
leadership path. all the way from rock bottom to, the first immigrant to get that H-1B visa and then, all the way up to the ladder to, so that was life. Weekends, ma ke garne, let's have fun.
Yeah.
And
Which football team, which basketball team?
football games and
The
barbecues.
Celtics and all that.
so-
Then why Kimbu then? Sounds like a great life. That's what most of us want in Nepal, especially the H-1B now.
Nobody wants H-1B now.
I thought Kimbu was a Korean company when I first heard it. I'm like, what? Okay.
So in all of this and doing it for 14 barsha garda garda, something was missing. I was not who I was. And I don't think America got to see me as who I am. त्यो चाहिँ missing थियो के त्यो पार्टमा चाहिँ अनि त्यो 14 वर्ष गर्दा गर्दा nothing is going to I think to some part Achalले भने जस्तै nothing was going to replace my happiness or what I wanted to give back. Not a bigger houses, not a boat, not a beach house, not more fancier cars. Nothing was going to, give me that happiness or belongingness. I think that led us to, packing the suitcase and selling the house and moving back.
And when you moved back, did you know what you were going to do here? Was
No.
Kimbu up? Or? No, just moved back.
I just had 2 daughters. They were really small. One was 3 months old. The other one was 2.5 years old. It's a very dedicated mom. And we just took 1 year break. We had the savings. Like Achal said, we came back. We rented a house. And, said, we started from here and worst case scenario फेरि गएर भाडा माझेर स्टार्ट गरेको थियो युएसमा हैन फेरि भाडा माझुला हैन सो त्यो त छ भन्ने चाहिँ थियो अनि त्यसपछि अब हामी दुवैजनाको एउटा टेक ब्याकग्राउन्ड पनि थियो अनि we both had done 14 years of in US and उतै मास्टर्स गरे भएर केही न केही हिसाबले चाहिँ कतै न कतै चाहिँ we can go back and rent an apartment भन्ने चाहिँ थियो and but everything started 1 year of doing nothing घाम ताप्ने सुन्तला खाने that's it kids like take care गर्ने
So what was the first team, first client like? I mean,
so त्यही जर्नीमा चाहिँ I went and met all like few of my friends I studied here म चाहिँ के पनि भन्न चाहन्छु भने मेरो ब्याचलर चाहिँ मैले यहीँ गरेको सो कर्मन युनिभर्सिटीबाट बिजनेस इन्फर्मेसन सिस्टममा फर्स्ट ब्याच अफ द्याट डिग्री के पढिरहेछ नि थाहा छैन तर अब पढ्यो अब इट्स अ न्यू डिग्री त्यही पनि अब धेरै वुमेनहरूले चाहिँ त्यतिखेर अब आइटी यस्तो इन्जिनियरिङ पढ्ने चलन थिएन त्यही पनि कम्प्युटर्स अब पढौँ नयाँ राम्रै हुन्छ होला भनेर पढ्यो अनि त्यसपछि फर्स्ट क्लाइन्ट वाज सो आई नेभर वान्टेड टु इस्टाब्लिस अ कम्पनी पहिला क्यापेक्स खर्च गरेर उसले भने जस्तै अजितले भने जस्तै क्यापेक्स खर्च गरेर एकदम फ्यान्सी अफिस खोलेर देन सेल्स गर्न जान्छु भन्ने मेरो सोच थिएन मेरो सोच चाहिँ पहिला म सेल्स लिएर आउँछु अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ आई विल स्टार्ट भन्ने चाहिँ थियो अनि द्याट्स हाउ आई वर्क इज इजरायलमा हाम्रो फर्स्ट सेल्स एजेन्सी इस्टाब्लिस भयो इजरायलिज दे वान्टेड टु ओपन अप अ सप and in Nepal they were looking for somebody in Nepal and we had a 15 minutes meeting where my Israeli partner and we were sold in 15 minutes. I didn't have to do a presentation or anything and neither he had to. I was like, I'm there, and he told me that you don't have to do sales and that was the biggest thing because business भन्ने कुरा कसैले गरेको छैन फ्यामिलीमा अनि त्यसपछि थाहा नै छैन अब सेल गर्न त सकिँदैन नेपालीमा छैन जस्तो लाग्थ्यो अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ अनि उसले चाहिँ यु डोन्ट ह्याभ टु सेल आई वाज लाइक एन्ड देन all you have to do is तिमीले चाहिँ म बिजनेस ल्याइदिन्छु तिमीले अपरेसन बेस्ट गर्नु पर्यो एन्ड द्याट्स वाट आई वाज डुइङ इन युएस आई वाज लिडिङ अफसोरिङ टिम्स अनि त्यसमा चाहिँ आई वाज गुड एट इट टु म्यानेज किनभने कतिजनाले त्यो कल्चरल ग्याप भएर they were unable to manage your expectations of the offshoring teams. And त्यो चाहिँ I was like my strength के चाहिन्छ this तिमी कहिले छुट्टी लिँदैछौ तिम्रो गर्लफ्रेन्डलाई कहिले डेट लिएर जानुपर्छ त्यो इन्फर्मेसनहरू पनि मेरो अफसोरिङ टिमको राखिदिएर हुन्थे सो चाहिँ अनि I was ahead of the other team members के उसले त क्या ब्यालेन्स गरिदिन्छ थिङ्स आर कमिङ अन टाइम होइन भनेपछि उसलाई नै देऊ भन्ने सो त्यो टाइपले गरिरहेको थियो एन्ड वाइ नट do the things that I'm good at from this side of the world.
Okay.
अनि यहाँ साथीहरूको चाहिँ टेक कम्पनी गरिरहेको थियो बट nobody was doing more offshoring or हुन्छ नि केही नै थिएन क्या अनि अफिसहरूमा गयो नि there's like womenको presence त छँदै नै छैन. There's no women running a tech company, not even any other, even banking sectors and other sectors. So सबै थियो. So I felt, you know, having amazing women leaders in, you know, US, and why not, you know, open up and, you know, try to do something if I can to these women that this is also a path. त्यो पनि हुन सक्छ भनेर अनि that's how Kimbu was born. अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ and then I had my first sales but then COVID happened. So and firstly the story was we got 35 requirements. पहिला त अब कम्पनी पनि इस्टाब्लिस भएको छैन अनि त्यसपछि ल अब सेल्स त उनीहरूले ट्याङ 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 गरेर 35 रिक्वायरमेन्ट्स हामी त अब के रिक्वायरमेन्टमा त चाहिने थियो नेपालमा त रिसोर्सेस होला भन्ने सोच्यो. Then we went out, I knocked on every company's door and I could fulfill only one requirement out of the 35 requirements. Then all of us had to step back. Step back गर्दाखेरि so we said there's no ecosystem. There's no funnel, there's no recruiting firm that is working on it, there's no offshoring को लागि career path. हैन जो बसिरहेछ मजाले 2-3 लाख कमाएर खाइरहेछ तर आनन्द साथ रिल्याक्स छ हैन they were not applying to jobs, the recruiting firms could not reach them. So यो सबै इकोसिस्टमकै प्रब्लम थियो अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ then I felt that we need to start working back to the ecosystem. So we stopped the sales उताको साइडबाट let's hold off, let's be successful on these 1 or 2 or 3 requirements भन्ने हिसाबले चाहिँ अनि then we started to work with the tech companies. यहाँ भएको टेक कम्पनी साथीहरूको सो उनीहरूलाई स्ट्रेन्थेनिङ गरेर टु द पोइन्ट कि त्यो फर्स्ट हाम्रो जुन रिक्वायरमेन्ट क्लोज गर्यो वेन द्याट पर्सन वाज कोडिङ उसले रिपोर्ट पठाउने बेलामा आई वाज बिहाइन्ड द चेयर टु से आजको स्ट्याटस तिमीले के पठायो होइन टु द पोइन्ट कि उसले चाहिँ आज उसको म्यानेजरसँग के कुरा गरिरहेछ हाउ इज द्याट कन्भर्सेसन हैन त्यो ग्यापदेखि लिएर स्लोली त्यो गर्दै गएपछि द्याट वान पर्सन वाज एबल टु क्लोज मेनी रिक्वायरमेन्ट्स फर अस हैन अहिले पनि इज स्टिल देयर बट द्याट एन्ड त्यो लेसन लर्न पछि दो देयर इज एन अपर्च्युनिटी हियर नेपाल इज गोइङ टु इभल्भ नेपालले यो अपर्च्युनिटी मिस गरेछ 25 years ago, नाउ इज द टाइम भनेर चाहिँ देन द्याट वाज द फर्स्ट जर्नी टु स्टार्ट working on the ecosystem and then working with the people and working with the leaders and got to be part of this.
So how big is Kimbu today?
I don't, everything I don't do. We have 4 companies that we have 200 employees that are working with primarily 4 countries, Israel, South Africa, Iceland and America. So चारैवटा देशमा we have established sales agency. So all they're doing is हामीलाई सेल्स लिएर आउने र चाहिँ उताको नलेज कल्चर चाहिँ वी आर इनहेलिङ हैन वी आर लर्निङ सो मेजोरिटी इज स्टिल इजरायलिज बट आवर यु नो नट नेसेसरीली इजरायल बिङ द हाइएस्ट रेभेन्यू बट अरू कन्ट्रिजहरूबाट हायर रेभेन्यू हुने यो 4वटा मध्ये दे हेभ देयर ओन स्ट्रेन्थ एन्ड छ तर वाट वी आर लर्निङ इज उनीहरूको देशको कल्चरको नलेज हाम्रो नेपालीको कल्चर उनीहरूलाई बुझाउने द ग्याप वी आर फिलिङ द ग्याप अनि त्यो बिचमा चाहिँ के भइरहेछ भने चाहिँ द ट्रस्ट वी आर टकिङ कन्भर्सेसन अबाउट डेटा सेन्टर्स यु नो उनीहरूको त्यो इजरायलमा यस्तो भइरहेछ इभन वेन कोभिड वाज ह्यापनिङ थिङ्स वर ह्यापनिङ फास्टर अन द वेस्टर्न साइड उनीहरूले नै हामीलाई प्रिपेयर गराइरहेको थियो कि ओके बी रेडी फर इम्प्लोइज टु वर्क फ्रम होम होइन बी प्रोभाइड देम विथ अल द इक्विपमेन्ट्स यस्तो हुँदैछ यस्तो सटडाउन हुँदैछ यस्तो भने सो अल अफ दो सिनर्जी द वर्ल्ड हेज यु नो गट स्मलर एन्ड स्मलर and अहिले हामीले I think after our US Tech Week show we've established a sales agency in Minnesota. One of their friends there so they established Karaso and the newest edition is Iceland. So we are quite excited, Iceland being very, I think culturally also we are seeing a lot of connections between Iceland very nice people. Everywhere it's nice people, but culturally I think there is a lot of balance, that they also very smaller networks and good connections and all of these. So यो सबै ecosystem चाहिँ not only आफ्नो company बनाउन, we had to go towards the left, towards the right. Sales side मा पनि you have to go and sell, हुन्छ नि, even taking a delegation to Orlando देखि लिएर यहाँ आएर पोलिसीमा काम गरेर, then empowering women to go on tech, हैन, which is around 7% of contribution in the tech sector भन्ने एउटा रिसर्चले भनेको छ. How do we take that 7% to 50% देखि लिएर sales कसरी बढाउने भन्ने चाहिँ is a long horizon that is there to work on.
I just realized, before we move to a question, I just want to throw to everybody is, हामी brain drain भन्छौँ होइन, सबै युवा अमेरिका गए खत्तम पारे, हाम्रो अस्ट्रेलिया गए खत्तम पारे भनेर. यो टेबलमा हेर्दाखेरि ब्रेन गेन भनेको के हो भनेर चाहिँ यही टेबलमा हेर्दाखेरि यु क्यान सी के पढेर कोही फर्क्यौँ, कोही पढेर काम गरेर फर्क्यौँ, कोही चाहिँ काम गरेर त्यहाँ सिकेर फर्क्यौँ. ब्रेन गेन भनेको त्यो लिप फ्रग गरिन्छ नि, यहीँ मात्रै बसेर यहीँको मात्रै गऱ्यो भने एउटा रफ्तारमा गइएला, त्यो पनि चाहिन्छ. बाहिरको पनि फर्केर आयो भनेदेखि युवाहरू जुन चाहिँ विदेशमा हुनुहुन्छ, यहाँ नेपाल गएर के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि आई थिङ्क वी हेभ अमेजिङ इक्जाम्पल्स अफ नेपाल गएर के हुनसक्छ. र I'm convinced, I don't know if I would have earned more money if I had stayed around in the States or not, but one thing छ, त्यो दाम कमाइएला नाम कमाइदिन्थ्यो, त्यो सन्तुष्टि, त्यो खुसीको कुराको जुन गर्नुभयो नि, त्यो खुसी चाहिँ definitely we wouldn't get. Now we're at the precipice of an election. We're not going to debate who's going to win or who's not going to win, हैन. घाम लागे पनि, रुखको छायामा बस्नु परे पनि, पाए पनि मन्दिरमा घन्टी बजाए पनि, हँसिया बोकेर जङ्गल पसे पनि, हैन, गाई चराएर खानु परे पनि, जे जसो भए पनि, हैन. What do you think the new government, whoever, whatever, however form, needs to do for your sector? What do you think it needs to be done now? I just open it up to you. Go ahead, please.
I can go, I
Be
think,
nice.
well, I'm on camera, right? Very nice. बोले के भइदिएला थाहा हुँदैन यहाँ, हैन. अनिलको शोमा पुगेर दिलीपले के भनिदियो, त्यसपछि त के भयो हैन. But I'll be honest, हैन. के छ भने नेपालमा I think the biggest problem that the government needs to address, and it's not just for my industry, is stability of policies. Policies बनाइदियो, stable राख, clear राख. र चाहिँ यो retrospective taxation को जुन मुद्दा छ नि, that's hitting everyone, हैन. It's hit my industry several times. It's including, let's say, the mobile operators. We are going through something like that today as well. Offshoring industry मा कोटिबिटी को के गरिदियो नेपाल सरकारले, हैन. So I think यो मुद्दाहरूलाई चाहिँ नेपाल सरकारले कमिटमेन्टै दिनु पर्यो कि हामी चाहिँ यस्तो retrospective taxation गर्दैनौं, हैन. ट्याक्स उठाउने चक्करमा चाहिँ हामी इन्डस्ट्रीहरु बर्बाद गर्दैनौं, हैन. हामी देशको नाम खराब गर्दैनौं, हैन. बिजनेसलाई तर्साउँदैनौं, हैन. बरु हैन बिजनेससँग मिलेर, कम्युनिटीसँग मिलेर कसरी चाहिँ ट्याक्सेसनलाई अझै हैन स्ट्रीमलाइन गर्ने, कसरी अझै त्यसलाई प्रभावकारी बनाउने, हैन. र चाहिँ बिजनेसलाई प्रोत्साहन दिनलाई अरु के पोलिसी बनाउनु पर्यो त, हैन. त्यो चाहिँ बनाएर त्यसलाई प्रष्ट रूपले कार्यान्वयन गर्ने, सरी इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्ने, हैन. किनभने यहाँ के देखिन्छ भने नेपाल, इट्स नट द नेपाल गभर्नमेन्ट hasn't done anything, हैन. हामी अहिले नै हेर्छौं भने, हैन, यो अब ई सेक्टरमा I just read about automatic route for investment, हैन. Something that I have been asking for since 2017, हैन. बल्ल भयो. अब I hope it gets implemented the way that the government has drafted it. But if it does, then the first time we got investment, it took us over a year to get approval. Now there is no approval. Now if in any of the industries that the people here run, if they want investment from anyone in the world, they just need to wire the money, and the investment is done. Just like if any Nepali entity were to invest. Now, when you take the money back, there may be a different story, okay? Right? But at least bringing in the money, which is the first step, has been simplified. So I think businesses हरूलाई प्रोत्साहन दिनलाई policy stability, एकदमै जरुरी छ, हैन. म त यतिसम्म भन्छु कि आईटी नगर बाबु तिमीहरु यो देशमा, गभर्नमेन्टले भनिदियोस् प्रष्ट, हैन, नगर बाबु. होइन हाम्रो देशको लागि टुरिज्म र एग्रिकल्चर नै हो तिमी टुरिज्म र एग्रिकल्चरमा तिमीलाई जे चाहिन्छ म दिन्छु होइन तिमीलाई जे पोलिसी चाहिन्छ भन ट्याक्स ब्रेक पनि दिन्छु तर हाम्रो नेपाल इज गोइङ टु स्पेसलाइज हाइपर स्पेसलाइज ओन्ली इन दिस टु सेक्टर्स भन्ने पनि भयो होइन होइन बट डोन्ट टेल द प्राइभेट सेक्टर द्याट वी विल डु आइटी दशक पनि बनाउने टुरिज्म दशक पनि बनाइदिने होइन दूरसञ्चार दशक पनि बनाइदिने होइन तर गर्ने केही पनि होइन 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 सो आई थिङ्क द्याट क्ल्यारिटी हेज टु बी ब्रट इन for businesses to prosper. Otherwise, this country has tremendous potential. That's why we are all here. Let's be honest also. We do have roots in this country, but at the same time, we know that this country has tremendous potential. यो देश चाहिँ एउटा सुनको खानी हो जुन हामीले अहिलेसम्म खन्न पनि पाएको छैनौँ होइन we all want to dig it and we all want to make this country prosperous. We are being held back. We are being chained. त्यो चेनलाई हामीले अनचेन गरिदिनु पर्यो त्यति मात्र मेरो सोच छ
I'll just add to that. I think अलिकति चाहिँ प्राइभेट सेक्टर नै अलिकति नेगेटिभ लाइटमा a lot of like popular so मैले केही कुरा भनेर केही कुरा गरेर जुन कुरा म पपुलर हुन्छु म त्यही भनिदिन्छु जस्तो just not listening to what the economists are saying. Like if you want to build an economy त्यो त अलिकति educated conversations हुनु पर्यो नि त अब for example I'll hear people saying अब सबै कुरा नेपालमा बनाउनु पर्यो नेपाल made I mean emotionally yes I'm 100% there but is it practical it's not practical right चाइनामा जुन कुरा अब यही जुत्ता होला चाइनिज हैन सायद अब त्यो जुन कस्टमा बन्छ त्यो नेपालमा बन्दैन सो त्यो कुरामा हामीले चाहिँ नेपालमै जुत्ता बनाउँछौँ अब हामी यही गर्छौँ भनेर त इट्स नट अ प्र्याक्टिकल थिङ इट्स नट अ सस्टेनेबल थिङ अनि मैले यो कुरा चाहिँ किन ल्याएँ भन्दाखेरि आई अभियसली वर्क फर अ फरेन कम्पनी एफडिआई कम्पनी होइन सो यो पनि वेन आई केम इट वाज एक्चुली अ भेरी नेगेटिभ सेन्टिमेन्ट कि चाइनिज कम्पनी आयो होइन लाइक like great that will probably get you votes अब नेपाली कम्पनी हामी सपोर्ट गर्ने I mean great yes but have you actually taken the time to look into it right like कस्तो खाले FDI company के गरिरहेछ यहाँ right like so Daraz for example yes it's an FDI company 22 some million dollars लिइरहेछ created a lot of jobs like I said earlier 24,000 sellersहरूलाई support गरिरहेछ 85% of them are SMEs So we are talking about अघि जुन brain drain को कुरा भयो these are all like young people who have like started out of like nothing there's several brands that like पहिला उनीहरूले 1000 something मा सुरु गरेको business अहिले they actually have like 3 physical stores just काठमाडौँमा हैन I won't take names तर the impact that a company has is like significant, right? The technology, like I said earlier, त्यो technology ल्याइरहेछ world class technology हो नि त Alibaba भनेको हैन and I'm sorry to say this but they didn't come by intention. They didn't say oh आज त नेपाल enter गर्नु पर्यो. They didn't. It's not that big of a market where companies like Alibaba or Amazon would intention. They happened to purchase a company, Daraz, which had a presence in Nepal, and they're ended, and then now they've understood that potential cha, like minimal effort le pani growth bhairasa. But when I have conversations with my leadership team, consistently ke kura aउँछ even like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka यस्तो countries-हरुमा political stability नभए पनि at least they have policies that let you work freely हैन तर यहाँ चाहिँ अब त्यस्तो छैन के हैन so for example oftentimes I'm sure a lot of you guys were like a lot of customers will be able to resonate मैले यो रातो order गरेको थिएँ पहेँलो आयो right a lot of those like customer experience issues are also happening because we're connecting sellers to customers अब सेलर्सहरु पनि उहाँहरु like small businesses-हरुलाई train गर्नलाई time लाग्छ उ लाग्छ हैन so if we had for example like retail license जुन छैन अहिले from what I've heard they're trying to protect physical like offline retailers externally आएर खोल्ने अब e-commerce मा त this is I mean we're the biggest e-commerce company and we don't have retail license so that means we cannot assure quality 100% because we always have to अब त्यो सेलरले बक्स प्याक गरेर आएपछि हामीले खोल्न पनि मिल्दैन के So things like that, or like, you know, you talked about telecom. I'll talk about like payment license. त्यो पनि restricted छ, right? In a lot of other countries, you'll see e-commerce ma buy now pay later, right? Like phone kinदाखेरि bigger purchases, that makes it like so much flexible for people. तर अहिले त्यसमा पनि restrictions हरु छ, especially FDI company. Last year or the year before, we did like Nepal Investment Summit. We do all these like crazy things that look like, oh, we want investors. But then invest गरिरहेछ कम्पनीहरू जुन यहाँ बसिरहेछ उनीहरूलाई राम्रो गरे पो, then others will see it as like, oh, okay, I need to enter that market. So I think like I'll stop my spiel there.
I can go. अब सबै पार्टीको चाहिँ the घोषणापत्रमा looking at them एकदमै इम्पोर्टेन्स दिएर नै त्यो राखिएको छ आइटीलाई चाहिँ एउटा टप इन्डस्ट्री भनेर। र चाहिँ हाम्रो पास्ट एक्सपिरियन्समा चाहिँ के छ भन्दाखेरि जुनसुकै सरकार होस्, माओवादी होस्, काङ्ग्रेस होस्, एमाले होस्, we have been able to work with them. धेरै अगाडि त म भन्दिनँ हैन, इन द लास्ट आइटीको दिलीप दाइले भने जस्तै गरी so many policies have been that we've worked, team has worked, त्यो एकदम फास्टर चेन्ज भएको छ जुन हिस्ट्रीमा भएको थिएन हैन। सो अहिले पनि आउने सरकारलाई पनि दे हेभ नो चोइस बट टु लिसन टु द एक्सपर्ट्स अफ दिस इन्डस्ट्री इफ दे वान्ट टु मेक दिस इन्डस्ट्री, दिस इज अ डिस्रप्टिभ इमर्जिङ इन्डस्ट्री फर नेपाल। अघि भने जस्तै टुरिज्म, हाइड्रो यो भनेर पहिलेदेखि भएर दिस इज अ सो वाट द्याट मिन्स इज यु पुट इन अल योर रिसोर्स, अल ह्यान्ड्स इन द डेक, मेक द पोलिसी फास्टर, सुनर, so that तिम्रो youth are engaging, you know, the investment is there, you know, you are changing from the grassroots level. How do we make sure that त्यो फर्स्ट गाउँबाट ग्रेजुएट भएको मान्छेले आएर फ्युज मसिनमा काम गर्न सक्ने हैन। सो त्यो साइकलमा काम गर्न आइटी डिकेड भनेको छ स्पेसिफिक पोलिसिजहरूमा चाहिँ कसरी हामीले त्यो टार्गेट अचिभ गर्ने। 10 लाख इम्प्लोइमेन्ट भने चाहिँ एटलिस्ट एउटा प्रदेशले 1 लाख 2 लाख त उत्पादन गर्नु पर्यो। आर यु प्रड्युसिङ? कलेज लाइसेन्सहरू दिएको छ, डिग्री दिएको छ कि छैन भनेपछि त्यो ब्याक ट्र्याक, लाइक आई सेड, इकोसिस्टममै धेरै कुरा गर्नु छ। तर जुन सरकार आए पनि we will be with them, we will be standing with them, we will be talking about the policy. We want the policy change now, we want the policy change tonight, हैन। सो त्यो हिसाबले चाहिँ we will, there's no option because we are bringing the best dollars to this country. Our youth is part of this, हैन। त्योलाई चाहिँ हामीले अब स्टप गर्ने अप्सन छैन। र चाहिँ we have to work together, combining, and that has been in the tech sector. If you notice, all हामीले जति काम गरेका छौँ लास्ट 3-4 वर्ष, all the sectors from Fusemachine to Daraz to हामी सँगै मन्त्रीज्यूहरूको डेलिगेसन, इभन यो लास्ट उसमा पनि आँचल हामीहरू सँगै मन्त्रीज्यूलाई भेट्न गएर, इभन दो दिस इज अ सर्ट गभर्मेन्ट, दिस क्यान नट स्टप भनेर हामीले डेलिगेसन लिएर गएर गरेकै छौँ। सो यस्तो हुँदै नै जान्छ र चाहिँ आवर युथ डिजर्भ दिस। एन्ड हामीले जुन बाहिरबाट ब्रेन गेन सोचेका छौँ, वी वान्ट लट अफ पिपल आर मुभिङ ब्याक टु नेपाल। होपफुली यो न्यू गभर्मेन्ट वी क्यान सो द्याट पाथ टु देम एन्ड वी क्यान ब्रिङ देम हियर एन्ड कन्ट्रिब्युट मोर। हामीहरू जस्तो अझ 10-100 टाइम्स होस्टहरू पनि बाहिरबाट आएर।
वाउ, व्हाट डु यु थिङ्क?
अब एकदम ग्रोथ गर्ने भनिएको छ, मेकिङ आइटी डेकेड एन्ड सो फोर्थ, तर लास्टमा वाट इज द प्लान, राइट? वाट आर द पोलिसिज द्याट्स गोना हेल्प विथ दिस? एन्ड इफ आई वर टु से अघि भने जस्तै टेक्नोलोजी, ट्यालेन्ट र इन्भेस्टमेन्ट्स, पर्टिकुलरली पोलिसिज अराउन्ड यो 3 बिग बकेट्स निड्स टु बी वेल थट अफ, सो द्याट अघि भने जस्तै 10 वर्षको प्लान बनायो भने फर्स्ट इयर के गर्ने त, सेकेन्ड इयर के गर्ने त, थर्ड इयर के गर्ने, ग्रोथ यो टार्गेट गर्ने, यो भएन भने चाहिँ कसरी चेन्ज गर्ने। टेक्नोलोजीमा एआई फाउन्डेसनल मोडल्सहरू नेपालमा पनि बनाउन सकिन्छ कि? कस्ट अ लट, नो वान कम्पनी क्यान जस्ट डु इट, बट प्रब्लली इट कुड युज हेल्प टु क्रिएट फाउन्डेसनल मोडल्स नेपालमै पनि। डेटा सेन्टर्स बनाउन सकिएला, एआई टुललाई व्यापक रूपमा देशभरि एक्सेस दिन सकिएला। So there's a whole bunch of technology related kuraharu that needs to be thought out and planned. The second big bucket is talent. नेपालमा ट्यालेन्ट छ, हामी सबैले देखेको छौँ। देयर इज अ लट अफ युथ। यहाँबाट कतिजनाले सर्भिसेस आउटसाइड प्रोभाइड गरिरहेछन्, प्रडक्ट बनाएर प्रडक्ट बाहिर बेचिरहेछन्, प्रडक्ट बनाएर यहीँ बेचिरहेछन्। तर कसरी चाहिँ यो ट्यालेन्टको पुललाई अझ बढाउने र अहिले नयाँ युगको जुन चाहिँ यो एआईको बिगमा एआई इनेबल्ड सर्भिसेस, एआई इनेबल्ड प्रडक्टको लागि चाहिने खालको अपस्किलिङ एजुकेसनहरू कसरी व्यापक रूपमा बढाउने, त्यसमा ध्यान दिनु पऱ्यो। अनि लास्टमा त कम्पनी हुनको लागि फर एनी कम्पनी रेभेन्यू हुनु पऱ्यो, प्रफिट हुनु पऱ्यो, ग्रोथ हुनु पऱ्यो। त्यसको लागि स्पेसली इन द भेरी बिगिनिङ फन्डिङ चाहियो। र अहिले दिलीप दाइले भन्नुभयो जस्तै लुक्स लाइक पोलिसिज आर बिङ चेन्ज। तर पहिला त एफडिआई गर्नलाई 1 वर्ष 2 वर्ष कुर्नु पर्थ्यो, लाइक इट जस्ट वुडन्ट गेट अप्रुभड। सो पोलिसिज related around funding and investments and so forth, some of those needs to be thought out and planned. So I think these are some of the things that needs to be thought out र गरियो भने सकिन्छ।
Finally, what do you say?
I have a very optimistic view on this, and I'm a true believer that if you can't control it, don't worry about it. Look at the silver line in any challenges that you have, right? We talk about brain drain. At least they went somewhere, and then now they are there. They can sort of help us catapult Nepal out of this ditch where we're in. And I don't think we're in a ditch, actually. If you really look at India, sabai India ko diaspora le grow garado until industry. See, culturally, Nepal is the only society yo char जात 36 पर्णको साझा फुलबारी भने जस्तै हामी still त्यो सँगै मिलेर कामै गरिरहेको छैन के अहिलेसम्म पनि. The countries that have really grown are the countries who believe in community, help each other out. के नेपालमा neighbor index गर्यो भने very few people have good terms with their neighbors. Whereas the developed countries all have great terms with their neighbors. It's a cultural thing. Now the answer to that is the next generation is coming. They're much more friendlier to each other. So that's the hope I see. Right? अहिलेको जुन चाहिँ चुनाव हुन लागिरहेछ, जो पोलिटिकल पार्टी आए तापनि, I think what needs to be done is very clear. It's not rocket science के हैन, तर त्यो गर्ने क्रममा चाहिँ अलिकति त्यहाँ एकजना जितेपछि अर्कोलाई अपोजिसन त्यो गर्ने, that is kind of dirty that I've seen, and almost instead of supporting everybody, there's actually people pulling down, but which I hope to see less of that happening. But regardless of whatever happens, shouldn't matter. $1 billion, 100,000 people happened without the government looking. Think about it. है त्यो इट्स लाइक त्यो ठुलो त्यो बारीमा कता कता एउटा खतरा पुल खोलेर all of a sudden, oh my god, यहाँ त यस्तो भइरहेछ, यसलाई ठिक पारौँ भनेर. Now it's good that it helps, हैन, तर we should give the soil and the sun and all that stuff it requires, हैन. My only input on the focus of the government should be, एउटा saying छ नि, to take away the evil of this world, good men should do nothing or women should do nothing भन्ने एउटा saying छ नि हैन. त्यो कहिलेका बनाउँदा खोज्दा झन् बिग्रिन्छ कि हैन. अनि अर्को कुरा चाहिँ लास्टली, आई थिङ्क नो इज द सेकेन्ड बेस्ट आन्सर, राइट? दिलीप दाइले भन्नुभयो नि अघि, आइडी नगरौँ, इट्स ओके, त्यो एन्टरप्रेन्योर्सले पत्ता लगाइहाल्छ, आफ्नो काम गर्न सक्छ हैन. तर यस पनि नभनिदिने, नो पनि नभनिदिने, हुँदैछ भन्दा 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 विल मिस द बोट येट अगेन के. तर डिस्पाइट द गभर्मेन्ट डुइङ वाट एभर दे आर डुइङ, यो ग्रोथ हुँदै आइरहेछ कि हैन. सो I'm not too worried actually. Right? The people that left Nepal, they're making money, they're doing all great stuff, but they have an identity crisis.
Even more so.
Even more so, right? Even more so, exactly. My son goes to school in the UK. And without me telling him, he took a Nepal flag with him. And I said, wow. Nepal flag in YY actually. Thanks, Nirvana. So that identity गर्दा चाहिँ I think we can actually mobilize these diaspora to say, all right guys, टन्नै छ, तिमीहरूले खालि एउटा मात्र कस्टमर ल्याइदेऊ न, भइहाल्ने, एउटा भए पुग्छ, त्यति त गरिदेऊ न. So I think those kind of thing गर्यो भने चाहिँ I think होला. I mean, some people say I'm delusional, but at the same time I think
so. No, because यो जुन चाहिँ Gen Z को आन्दोलन या रेभोल्युसन या whatever you call it बाट चाहिँ आज हामी इलेक्सनमा गइरहेको छौँ. उहाँहरूले सिर्फ राजनीतिक परिवर्तन मात्रै खोजेको होइन है, उहाँहरूले त्योभन्दा गहिरो हेर्ने हो भनेदेखि एउटै चिजको परिवर्तन, सोचको परिवर्तन खोजेको हो उहाँहरूले. यही टेक सेक्टरमा होस् या कुनै पनि सेक्टरमा सोचको परिवर्तन। र म त क्लियरली भन्छु, मान्छेले भन्नु तपाईँले यति लाख कमाउनु हुँदो रहेछ, तपाईँको यति बोनस हुँदो रहेछ, यो त्यो भन्छ, अनि तपाईँलाई म जस्तो अर्को 1 लाख भएदेखि नेपाल कहाँ पुग्थ्यो त? हाम्रो सोचको परिवर्तन, प्राइभेट सेक्टरले पैसा बनायो भनेर गभर्मेन्ट सतर्क हुने, रिसाउनु पर्दैन कि यति कम किन बनायो भन्ने। नयाँ सरकारले भन्नु पर्यो कि हाम्रो एउटा फर्ब्स अरबपति छ, अब हाम्रो कार्यकालमा कमसेकम 15वटा फर्ब्स अरबपति चाहिँ हामी बनाउँछौँ है भने त्यो सोच आउनु पर्यो हाम्रो चाहिँ होइन। त्यो फेरि अरबपति मात्र होइन, करोडपति होस्, लखपति होस्, होइन हजारपति होस्, सबैजनाको होस् भनेर चाहिँ हो। नाउ वी कम टु द VIVO Q&A section. Looking at this amazing VIVO phone. So these are quick questions, fast answers, please. Starting with you, how does Fusemachine make money, and how does that model evolve? How does it make money?
By selling product and services
Globally.
globally.
What are the main products that you would say?
AI Studio
Okay.
and AI engines that are industry and pain point specific solutions,
Uh-huh.
and services with teams around it to build solutions around it.
So just give us in a nutshell, how do you sort of capitalize on a customer from the first time you make contact to actually making the sales? What are some of the steps you'd like to tell people who are looking?
Pain point.
Okay.
Right? That's the biggest thing. The customers
Yeah.
are not necessarily looking for this solution, this tech, or whatnot. They're looking to solve their pain point. I have this problem. Can you help?
Okay. Yeah.
Right? And that's what you got to capitalize on.
All right. So what does a Nepali founder realistically need to do to have a global scale?
Have that passion to solve these pain points,
Mm-hmm.
and find customers who are willing to buy your solution.
Which AI skills create real income and which are oversold?
Sorry, what's the question again?
Which AI skills should person have to create real income? I mean, that are sellable AI skills.
AI skills. AI skills that you need to have to. Very one thing.
AI skills that you need to have to be economically feasible. Okay. सबैले AI त म पढिरहेको छु, AI गरिरहेको छु. What are the AI skills you look for when you look at an individual and say, is it, you know?
It's changing a bit.
Okay.
पहिला चाहिँ I would say AI is pretty much all math,
Okay.
right? Like it's linear
Yeah.
algebra, calculus, probability and stats, and then coding skills on top of it.
Uh-huh.
But it's changing now with all the LLMs and Gen AI models. So you're looking for people who can use the tools very well.
So if there's a Nepali youth who wants to get into tech and earn a few $1,000s a month, what would you recommend that they do at this point of time for their own skills to get to that point?
Learn the latest AI tools as much
Okay.
as you can, and figure out a niche where you can use it and be the best at it.
All right. Wonderful. Anchal ji.
I'm really bad at this. Sorry.
You should start with a positive note. You shouldn't start with a negative note, you know.
I'll try.
So where does Daraz actually see the biggest volumes in the Nepali market?
Biggest volumes. Well, maybe I'll bunk a theory that people have is Kathmandu happens to be most of the sales भनेर सोध्छ. It's actually not true. We almost have 50-50% split. Kathmandu
Oh.
50% out of Valley, 50%.
Okay. So where does data still fail you because Nepal behaves unpredictably?
I think a lot of times, like this is not just Nepalko context. Even when I was in the US, data, sometimes you can make the data tell you what you want to hear. So I think hypothesis but suru garnu satta, you actually start with the data and the anecdotes. So I know I've talked about Amazon quite a bit, but like when I worked at Amazon, dogs not barking भन्ने एउटा कन्सेप्ट थियो कि. सो इट्स बेसिकली लाइक प्रब्लम्स जहाँ एक्जिस्ट हुनुपर्ने त्यहाँ छैन भने चाहिँ यु निड टु लुक अ बिट क्लोजर. सो फर इक्जाम्पल इफ माई कस्टमर एक्सपिरियन्स टिम इज टेलिङ मी द्याट अल द नम्बर्स लुक ग्रेट, I know that that's not true, right?
Okay.
Like, so I think alikati anecdotesharuma चाहिँ you need to alikati.
What are some tips you'd give to a seller who wants to come to your marketplace to succeed?
Tips more. So focus on more the programs. So already we have a great reach, right, in terms of like marketing, in terms of the service and all of this. But the programs that we have launched is more what we reinvest in. So things like free shipping program, like that is something that people like really value. So if you can capitalize on that, then your growth gets significantly higher.
So for Daraz, what is the biggest challenge that you see?
Biggest challenge is what I talked about earlier, is like your quality assurance गर्ने कुरा चाहिँ without having a retail license, it's very challenging. So we try to focus more on like bigger sellers or like कसरी more train गर्ने and all of this, but that is going to be an ongoing challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Dillip ji, how does internet physically reach Nepal and where is it most fragile?
Well, you see, the content that Nepalese access, which is TikTok, Meta, Facebook, and YouTube, those servers are mostly now in India, and for TikTok, it's in Singapore.
Okay.
So the data comes from there, and there are these undersea cables plus terrestrial cables that run into Nepal via India, which carries all this traffic.
Okay. Okay. So what are the 2-3 decisions that truly determined WorldLink's survival and growth?
In the past or in the future?
In the past.
In the past, I think perseverance, not giving up, because of having a service mentality, a kind of like a mission, so I think we were never in it for the money. Money, I think, came later, but it was more the mission, the drive that we have to do this in Nepal. So I think that was very critical to our survival. And then I think once the banks started trusting us, and giving us a loan that was not, that didn't need a large collateral. So I think that was a turning point for us, because then suddenly we could think bigger. Like I told you, 100 crore investment, we did it only because Lakshmi Bank funded us.
There we go.
There we go.
You think outside the box, even as a financial institution, and then you create something. Okay, now going forward, 2 things that you see in the future that will impact your growth.
Well, first of all, I think what the government decides in terms of the licensing regime and the laws around telecommunications, because the current laws we have were drafted in 1997, and this sector is a sector that no government has had the guts to tinker with, because it could invite a lot of problems for them in the future. So I hope that the new governments come in, they tinker with it and modernize the act so that companies like WorldLink can do more. And there's more stability in the policies that we can follow, and they're more up to date.
What do you think is the impact of quality internet on growth of startups in Nepal?
Well, I think they can answer that. I think most of us realized the value of the internet that companies like WorldLink provide during the COVID times. त्योभन्दा पहिला त हामीलाई नेपाल सरकारले नै कस्तो व्यवहार गर्थ्यो भने तिमीहरूको त कामै छैन, एनटिसी छँदैछ, एनसेल छँदैछ, तिमीहरूको सेवाको कुनै भ्याल्यु नै छैन, किन गरे बिजनेस जस्तो व्यवहार गर्थ्यो हैन। कोभिड आएपछि चाहिँ यिनीहरू पनि रहेछन् नि, यिनीहरूले नभएको त न एजुकेसन चल्थ्यो, न कमर्स चल्थ्यो हैन, न सरकार चल्थ्यो, न बिजनेस चल्थ्यो, न रेमिटेन्स चल्थ्यो, सिद्धियो हैन। So I think the value of broadband and high quality broadband that only fiber can deliver in today's day and age became very apparent to everyone during COVID times.
What one tip would you give someone who's thinking of founding a tech company today?
Well, I always tell this that, like I heard on this table as well, when you're young, you have the most ability to take risk and fail, and because you can always come back, you can always get back up. When I started WorldLink also, I told myself that worst case scenario, म अमेरिकामा गएर मास्टर्स गर्छु हैन, बुवाले भने जस्तै PhD गर्छु, के ठुलो कुरा छ र। In fact, I never intended to stick with this company for 30 years. I always had it in my mind that I'll leave. So I would tell young people that, please take the risk, and please, if you have a dream, a passion, that you want to follow, please do it. And at the most, you will lose some money and a couple of years of your life.
Wow. That's great. That's great advice. Thank you. Ajit ji. So where does Lotus find most of its business now, and what shift have you seen in that?
We are going really heavy on the offshoring industry, just because we see so much potential there, and we have a demand problem, not a supply problem. We have lots of supply, and we're going to do more and more of that. But we're innovating as we move forward. So, for example, when I mentioned about my new startup, when I was pitching to the investors, it was about putting headcounts on bums and seats. But now I'm actually talking about seats only. They could be humans or they could be robots. We don't know. But offshoring, and offshoring doesn't have to be sort of cheap labor. Offshoring just has to be a place where you get it's like setting up a factory in Nepal with I mean, you sell products, services, and all that stuff, but not necessarily a cheap labor play, but an innovation play. And then what Fusemachine did was really there are steps that's happening to make us very credible, and we've got seat on the table with the big boys, so to speak, or the big women.
Big people.
Big people. Karvika's gonna give me a slap.
So in every sector in Nepal, the problem is that similar institutions outside play many times more. How do you retain talent?
We are okay if they leave, because we believe in that employee's growth. If them leaving is actually benefiting to their growth, we actually encourage that. We don't have a systemic problem on that because we can find people that can replace their spot. But having said that, then we're very careful as to what sector we want to go heavy in, right? So we're not going to do rocket engineering, outsourcing, right? We don't have people. But if it's anything on financial operations, on creative or accounting or all that stuff, lots of people in the market.
Okay, all right. So what honest minimum does a young founder need to start a tech service company now?
Don't think it's a tech service company. Just say, it's like, if you really think about it, right? I mean, tech is required for any industry. So when you say tech service industry, people say it's like coding, and that's the mindset that people have. Okay, like for example, our 600 people, 90% of them are not tech people; they're accountants. This is the thing people don't realize. Okay, after जे काम कर रहा था, त्यसलाई tech enable गरेर माथि लाने पो हो त. It's like, is there a business laptop ले के गर्छु भने जस्तै कि laptop जे पनि गर्न मिल्छ नि, techले जे पनि गर्न मिल्छ नि. So त्यसरी सोच्नु पर्छ.
Yeah. No, that's what I say, like this phone also, you can use it just for TikTok and social media and anything else, or you can use it as the biggest learning thing. I remember when I was slightly before all of you studying in the States, internet was just coming. They used to have computer labs. And I used to write, even then, Nepali pana भनेर नेपालमै केही लेखौँ भनेर गेलमेन लाइब्रेरी भन्ने थियो, दुईटा किताब थियो. एउटा मेरो ठुलो बाउ ऋषिकेश शाहले लेखे, एउटा लियो रोजले लेखेको. Anything about Nepal, that was it. Or you could go to Library of Congress, who was going to go there anyway. Now they're on this phone. Mustangma, what type of butterflies are there and what is their life? When it will give it to you now.
And going back to what Samir said, right? I mean, use tech, but to solve what problem? Okay?
Yeah.
About all the tech AI, and now they're talking about a one individual unicorn. Okay? So one person just has to connect different AI products, and then it'll sell, it'll deliver. I know, there's so many. There's avatars that are so realistic that even if you go to a Zoom meeting, I said, "Are you a human?" Or just to sort of next couple of months.
And then there will be Zoom meetings with only avatars.
Yes,
there will be no human there.
In fact, I was thinking, I attend a lot of Zoom meetings, right? I really want to make a digital twin of myself so that I can send
one day.
And then give me a summary of the meeting at the end of it. So do you think our outsourcing companies in Nepal, like yourselves and others, are globally competitive?
100%.
Okay.
100%. It's just that, like I think you mentioned, right? Nobody's waking up in the morning and saying, "I'm going to start a business in Nepal." I mean, let's face it, nobody is. There's 7 billion people in this world. We're like small. I mean, again, we had that conversation earlier, but it's not there. And I think in solving that is a huge opportunity itself. Okay, Karvika mentions about her sales agent around the world. You've got different offices, and we've got our salespeople. But I think if you can, I've been looking at the ecosystem for quite some time, and the sales component in actually driving this ecosystem or selling the ecosystem There's huge opportunity to be made there. So in fact, my new company is not a tech company. It's a business development company that's going to use the latest tech available out there to solve problems for everybody in Nepal.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. Karvika ji, finally we come to you. So what decisions in Kimbu's first 2 years determined your survival? Two decisions. Let's say a couple of
Just sustainability and getting to a new country and understanding that trust and culture and just rocking it and breaking it and just doing it and believing in my people, my country, my resources, and just being out there in a random country.
Okay. So how do you price yourself against India and Eastern European competitors?
We are quite competitive and we are also entering the market. So Ajit le bhane, so it takes around a year to 2 years for every of these agencies to be established.
Okay.
So sales process is ule bhane jasta आजको भोलि हुँदैन. 2 वर्ष of conversation, planning, of doing, trying out, गर्दाखेरि एउटा build up हुन्छ. So it's a long process and it's going to be there and it's going to grow.
So as you grow, you need more and more talented people with the same thought process. Do you find enough in Nepal?
Actually, it's getting a lot better. I don't know, tech, you sabaile garera ho ki, haina? So tech resources, I think the HR companies are also they've stepped up the game. The employees there also, a lot of international experience. So हामीले नयाँ कन्ट्रीमा गइराख्दाखेरि र डिफ्रेन्ट स्किल सेटमा खोजिराख्दाखेरि we've been quite lucky. एकदमै कम रिसोर्सेस जहाँ चाहिँ हामीले हात उठाइदिन्छौँ हैन, स्पेशली on the ones that needs really certifications चाहिनेहरूमा चाहिँ we cannot do this हैन. अब India is good at doing that, but नेपालबाट त सर्टिफिकेसन लिन नै गाह्रो छ, त्यो कल्चरै छैन, पढाउने ठाउँ पनि छैन. So that has put us a little bit backwards, but other than that हामीले चाहिँ from a 19-year-old doing AI tagging to a 23-year-old who has worked for 5 years and leading a 40 people team to being part of a global AI innovation. उनीहरुसँगै मिलेर we are building AI products that are going to be in the market and that are going to be even B2B sales मा पनि use हुने गरी AI models हरुमा चाहिँ we are working. So the range is wide, so there's big opportunities and quite competitive in the Asian mindset ले हेर्दा पनि globally पनि.
So what tech skills would you tell some student who's studying, what are the skills that they should focus on?
Skill set चाहिँ कस्तो छ भन्दा since this touches every sector र चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ टेकले चाहिँ solution, we are solving problems actually business को real life problems. त्यो mindset जब हाम्रो मान्छेको हुन्छ अथवा स्टुडेन्ट्सहरु चाहिँ that they are learning tech to solve a problem, not हुन्छ नि त्यो भन्ने हिसाबले जब हामीले चाहिँ गर्छ I think more innovation, more entrepreneurship हुन्छ. So my thing is कि you start from basics, you prove, you go to the market, you use this skill, कसैले voluntary गरेर हुन्छ कि कसैको फ्रीमा वेबसाइट बनाइदिएर हुन्छ कि हैन. Then you've done that, then go to next level, do a programming database अलिकति गर, go again do volunteering. That's how I did it. Do again volunteering गर त्यसमा सिक त्यो बेस भयो. त्यसको माथि अझ now you want to be a more project manager and त्यो skillsहरु soft skillsहरु तिम्रो छ. Go in the field and try it out. जुन तिमी uncertain हुन्छौ अथवा तिमीलाई चाहिँ so you're not comfortable, go out there and do it. And त्यही channelमा continuous, I've never in my life, even आजको दिनमा पनि, that I'm comfortable and I am all good, that I'm not able to, I don't have to learn anything भन्ने छैन के. आजको दिनमा continuous learning, continuous त्यो clientको AI को problem solving देखि लिएर, it has to be a continuous process.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. I just want one comment from each of you as to what you see the future for our youth, not for your companies, not for yourself, for our youth who are thinking tech. What do you see the future in Nepal or wherever they want to take it? Starting with you. Yes.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. अहिले त झनै झनै growth भइरहेछ. I think, as I see, like even across this table, as well as there's a lot of like other companies, अहिले अब freelancing भनेर, even some of like the Daraz employees now do freelancing for companies abroad. I think as the globe itself becomes more fluid in a way, I think the opportunities are bigger than what it used to be.
I see a lot of growth, a lot of potential. If passion and grit is there, you can build product and services here that serves not just Nepal, but all the countries around the world globally.
I just want to add to what Karvika was saying that one thing I kind of find missing with the youth is the hunger to learn and keep learning. हैन हामी पढ्दाखेरि त इन्टरनेट पनि थिएन हैन ब्रिटिश काउन्सिल लाइब्रेरीमा गएर किताब लिएर आउनु पर्थ्यो हैन त्यो हामी गर्थ्यौं हैन आई रिमेम्बर इट वाज अ रिचुअल एभ्री वीक वी ह्याड टु गो टु द लाइब्रेरी एन्ड ब्रिङ बुक्स एन्ड रिड हैन आजको दिनमा कति सजिलो छ त्यो सजिलो हुँदा हुँदै पनि पीपल डोन्ट वान्ट टु लर्न हैन देयर आर सो मेनी अनलाइन सर्टिफिकेसन कोर्सेस गुगल पुट्स देम आउट मेटा पुट्स देम आउट एन्ड अलिबाबा पुट्स आउट अल दी सर्टिफिकेसन कोर्सेस बट पीपल डोन्ट वान्ट टु गो एन्ड स्पेन्ड देयर टाइम लर्निङ इट हैन सो मेरो चाहिँ यो एउटा गुनासो पनि छ सुझाव पनि छ युवाहरूलाई हैन कि इफ दे रियली वान्ट टु स्टे रेलेभेन्ट मैले सुरुवातमै भने हैन there's going to be a lot of irrelevancy coming up. Right? The only way to stay relevant is to stay ahead of the curve. And the only way to stay ahead of the curve is to be constantly learning and relearning, right? Especially in the age we're entering. Right? So, त्यो गर्न सक्यो भने धेरै राम्रो पोटेन्शियल छ तर हाम्रो युवाहरू र हाम्रा कम्पनीहरूले चाहिँ अब है हामीले गरिरहेका छौँ ल सबै ठिकै छ हैन त्यो पारालाई हामी बस्यो भने we will become irrelevant and it's going to be disastrous. That's my fear.
Okay.
Mine is, I think, Malai Bajastay Mo, I want to share. I've been working since I was 16 years old. In fact, college, school or US college on a sat down or a part-time job doing or some kind of so I've never had a break. But over the last 20 I don't know, I can't even 25 years. Over the last 25 years of working, one thing I realized was I kept on exploring. Okay? I was trying to figure out what I was good at. Okay? And actually, I wasn't trying to figure out what I was good at. I kept on exploring, and in that process, it made me realize what I'm good at. And once you realize what you're good at, you'll just know. Okay? Nobody has to tell you anything. Okay? You'll just know, and then you'll want to do more of it. And then in that process, you just become so good at it, and you'll enjoy doing what you're doing. You will, you'll benefit everybody you're a part of. So. To explore पर्छ so youth like say don't try to make mistakes, keep on trying different कुराहरू. We always blame about there's obviously a societal sort of constraint that we have and यस्तो मैले गर्नै पर्छ so I think regardless of that ultimately it's you okay and keep on learning and once you figure out what you're good at 100% guarantee that you'll be happy doing what you're good at. पैसा सैसा Dillip भन्नुभयो जस्तै automatically आउँछ कि त्यसपछि But if you try to fit in because you have to be there and you're not, then that's a recipe for disaster.
So again, 25 years. I had my first startup when I was 21 years old, out of my internship project. So my students-हरुलाई अथवा young-लाई चाहिँ के भन्न चाहन्छु भने चाहिँ you just do it. Today गर्नै पर्छ के. Until you do it, until you try it, you cannot find the solution. What तिमी के नगर्ने भन्ने कुरा पनि थाहा हुन्छ के गर्ने भन्ने कुरा पनि थाहा हुन्छ त्यही जर्नीमै हैन सो त्यो जर्नीमा गरेको गर्नुपर्छ कि even to the point कि at the age of 80-20 you need to be working for 16 to 18 hours. That's how we did it हैन अर्काको देशमा गएर जिरोबाट स्टार्ट गरेर starting the job from a dishwasher to त्यो गर्न सकिन्छ भने आफ्नो देशमा त झनै छ नि हैन आफ्नो देशमा त यु हेभ अङ्कल्स आन्टीज हुन्छ हामीलाई कल गरे पनि हुन्छ हैन सो देयर सो मच अफ इफ आई कुड डु इट हैन उता पनि यताबाट आएर पनि जिरोबाट स्टार्ट गरेर हैन नट ओन्ली फर योर फ्यामिली बट टु द एक्सटेन्डेड ग्रुप to the community that matters, to the women that are looking for the tech careers, you can do it. And if I can do it in both countries, and at this point I can die, that I lived everything, and your passion will show in your eyes and in your words and in your work. And जब त्यो passion र त्यो meet हुन्छ र your hard work meet हुन्छ, that's the marriage you want to be successful. That's the recipe for success.
Wow. Thank you so much to everybody for coming here. मेरो चाहिँ जहिले पनि एउटा भनाइ छ देशलाई धनी बनाउने हो भनेदेखि धनी मान्छेलाई गरिब बनाएर कहिले पनि देश धनी हुँदैन तर धनी मान्छेलाई मात्रै धनी बनाएर पनि देश धनी हुँदैन र टेक इज वान सेक्टर आई सी जहाँ चाहिँ गरिबलाई धनी बनाउन सक्ने अनि जहाँबाट आए पनि जे जसो भए पनि अब यो एउटा सेक्टर छ जहाँ चाहिँ मैले यो बनाउँछु तर अब यो दुईवटा ढुङ्गाको बिचको तरुलको देशबाट समुद्र पनि नभएकोबाट मैले कसरी अमेरिका पुर्याउने यसलाई कार्पेटै होस् या पहिलाको त्यो त्यही थियो नि बङ्गलादेशसँग गार्मेन्ट कसरी कम्पिट गर्ने उनीहरूले त जहाजमा हाल्छ हाम्रो त बसमा जानुपर्छ ट्रेनमा जानुपर्छ अनि जहाजमा यो त केही पनि होइन हिट द एन्टर बटन एन्ड इट इज इन क्यालिफोर्निया whether it is coming out of Bangalore or it's coming out of Kathmandu or Pokhara or Dang, it doesn't matter. That is the equalizing factor that I see of tech. As you said, we have those who have made the highways on which all this can travel. There are those who have taken us to the global scale to say, hey, Nepali le pani sakne rahecha bhanera. Now it's up to each of you to decide whether this is yours. And I'm writing a book on what you said, Mr. Shah. It's on happiness. The objective of life is happiness for everyone, and you get happiness by only using your core competencies. माछालाई रुख चढ भनेर त्यो कहिले पनि खुसी हुँदैन. Exactly. So this is what I think. र अहिलेको जहाँ हाम्रो देश उभिरहेको छ, नयाँ सरकार गठन हुन लागेको छ, नयाँ सरकारलाई पनि म यही हात जोडेर भन्न चाहन्छु कि जब हामीले कुनै नयाँ चिज गर्न खोजिरहेको छौँ, त्यो नयाँ चिज गरिरहेको एक्सपर्टहरूलाई लिएर आएर राखौँ. हिजोसम्म म ब्याङ्कर थिएँ, भोलि गएर म आइटी मिनिस्टर भयो भनेदेखि चाहिँ अब चाहिँ मलाई समीरजी भन्दा दिलीपजी भन्दा यहाँहरू सबैजना भन्दा बढी आयो किनभने यो कुर्सीमा बसेको छु म मन्त्री हुँ. यो सोचबाट हटौँ. यो कुर्सीमा बसेको छु अब मेरो काम चाहिँ जसलाई चाहिँ थाहा छ उहाँहरूलाई लिएर आउँ र भनौँ कि के चाहियो त अब र त्यसलाई कार्यान्वयन गर्ने मेरो काम हो है. क्याबिनेटबाट पास गर्ने पार्लिमेन्टबाट पास गर्ने मेरो काम हो. तपाईँहरू भन्नुहोस् र त्यसमा चाहिँ सिर्फ एउटा कुरा यसबाट पैसा कति बनाउनुहुन्छ यो नकारात्मकबाट होइन सकारात्मक रूपबाट यसबाट तपाईँले कमसेकम 100 करोड बनाउनु हुँदैन भने यो नल्याउनुहोस् न. यो सानो कुराहरू जहाँ 100 करोड बनाउनुहुन्छ तपाईँको कम्पनीले होइन मलाई चाहिँदैन त्यो बनाउनुहोस् तर कमसेकम 100 करोड त बनाउनु पर्यो नि सबैजनाले अनि पो त देश धनी हुन्छ भने त्यो सोचतिर लागौँ. आई वान्ट गिभ अ साउट आउट टु माई स्पोन्सर्स हु मेड दिस अल पोसिबल. Our venue partner, Hotel Ambassador, thank you for this amazing hospitality. Our communication partner, VIVO, with this amazing Carl Zeiss lens. This shows technology. Phone okay, camera okay, we don't know. And Rakura, the tea company. I am waiting for that day when Nepali tea will be known worldwide as a Nepali tea kind of person, and we don't have to sell our tea through another. And Rakura is taking that forward. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming here. And I look forward to seeing your contributions in the day ahead also. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All done? Wrapped? Okay. Cut?
हामी पास भयो. Did we pass?
Oh my God, that was intense.
Now we can breathe.
No. I eat a fruit.